acting weird, there's a chance it could be my internet.
The heat is melting the internet.
Because it happened when I was watching a movie with Wholesome Fred and one of his other friends. Like, yeah, like, your stream cut out, and I was like, my internet died. And then Wholesome Fred had to call my phone to ask if I was okay, and I'm like, yeah, the internet died!
Well, enough about that. D-Dog, guys, it's me, Sergeant Major Mario. What is up? Welcome back to Klonoa!
Granted, you also haven't done that in, like, months, so... Congrats, sir!
Hey, you weren't expecting it! You weren't expecting it!
Honestly, I'm always kind of expecting that.
Anyway, I am here with...
It's just a matter of, like, is he gonna catch you when I'm talking about the cat? Is he gonna catch you when I'm talking about, like, how I spent my mom's birthday, etc., etc.? So it's just like, well, you know, it's just, you know, like, yeah.
I'm here with...
Sam.
So yeah, you know, back at it with Klonoa. Last time we were here, I got my ass handed to me on Vision 3.1. This time, however, I'm going to continue getting my ass handed to me at 3.1 because Vision 3.1 because, you know, it's still hard mode.
I don't know anything about Klonoa, so can you explain Klonoa to me as someone who didn't grow up with, like, any of the PlayStation mascots?
Well, Klonoa was a PlayStation exclusive. So, he was created as, like, one of those... A game that's good for kids, but good for mature adults as well.
Yeah.
His design... Well, it wasn't quite clear where his design was based off, but a lot of people point to Sonic, because, of course they do, they're fucking Sonic nerds. But, you know, this is basically just about Klonoa, a cadet? Species. It is never confirmed what his species is. He's just a Phantom Mile resident.
Rabbit.
Like he's basically a dream traveler, but that title dream traveler wouldn't be apparent until the second game.
Klonoa can be whatever species he wants. Honey, you want to identify as a cat, a rabbit, a cat rabbit, it's all up to you, honey.
Maybe the real Klonoa was in our hearts all along.
Maybe we're all Klonoa.
God, that'd be a hell of a twist. Like, fuck, imagine that! You're Klonoa! You're Klonoa! Your granddad's dead!
I'm Klonoa! No, I'm Klonoa! Fuck you, I'm Klonoa! I Klonoa'd first!
Are there any Klonoas I should know about? Meow. But yeah, this is a 2.5D platformer, which in the original PS1 version, it had a lot of charm where Klonoa and all the enemies were sprites on a 3D plane. You know, it's one of those games where it's like you're not necessarily committing genocide by jumping on them. You have this wind ring that essentially inflates them, and wow, I suck. Yeah, you know, it inflates the enemies, so you can use them as like an extra jump or.
So you kill your enemies by way of inflation.
Yeah, think of it as Dig Dug. Huh. Because I refuse to think of it as any way to get the fetishists out of here.
Now when I think of Dig Dug, I just think of Sonic for Hire.
Why?
That was one of the many things Sonic for Hire ruined for me.
Yeah, I know, but I'm trying to remember which bit.
I think it was like seasons 1 or 2. It's gotta be seasons 1 or 2.
Oh, now I remember.
Like,
now I remember. Hey, we gotta kill all those babies! Yay!
Sonic for Hire. How you fallen?
Well, they are still apparently they are going to make a season 9 on where they go to college, because apparently they made that end thing as a joke, but a lot of people responded well to it.
Yeah, and yeah, really, like the series should have ended with like Sonic becoming the creator, because like what better job do you get besides God?
Apparently, take this with a pinch of salt and take it as sources do trust me, but from what I heard, apparently they were going to end it there. Because working with Machinima was a bit of a bitch. So when Rooster Teeth signed them on and like gave them an opportunity to redo Sonic for Hire, that's when it became Hedgehog for Hire. Yeah, it was just one of those, you know, Rooster Teeth
contractual obligation.
Yeah,
shittery.
Yeah, Rooster Teeth kind of wanted it, so they went, sure, I guess we'll do that.
Well, I mean, Rooster Teeth sounds like a company that exists and doesn't know what to do with itself at this point. I mean, just look at the way they handle Ruby.
Just look at the way they handle everything. I mean,
I don't know anything else about Rooster Teeth besides Ruby.
Ruby has kind of hit the shit. Oh, hey, Amine. Ruby, like, it's past its prime, I feel. I mean, the animation's not going to get better anytime soon, let's be real. And the way Rooster Teeth are handling it, like, they are getting very desperate.
Pretty much. Like, Ice Queendom is basically, you could see it as almost like a soft reboot. I don't know if they're going to do more. I don't know if they're going to, like, follow through with, like, you know, the manga storyline or do additions along with the manga storyline. And, like, Season 9's been in production for, like, 2 years. It's been on hiatus and stuff. Like, Ruby is definitely one of those shows where I like the ideas, but, like, with a lot of other shows that I've seen that have come out of recent years, I like it more for the ideas than the actual show itself. Like, if I watch Ruby, I'm mostly just gonna critique it while I watch it, or like, how can I write this but better? Or like, what mistakes can I learn from Ruby that I can avoid in my actual writing, and things like that.
I need this to go back so I can get the checkpoint. I haven't seen Ice Queendom. Like, is it literally just a reboot?
It is partially like a reboot / retelling, but with expansion. So basically, it covers like season 1, but Tai is in it from the beginning. It actually has Yang and Ruby interacting like sisters, which I appreciate because, like, yeah, they never they were never really sisterly in the OG shows. They actually have Yang acting like an older sister, like instead of abandoning Ruby for her so-called friends that we never see again as soon as they get to Beacon, she's like, yeah, I don't want to leave Ruby alone unless she can make at least like one friend. And Ice Queendom, as the title suggests, is going to be very Weiss focused. And then there's this new Grimm that traps you in a dream world and stuff. And yeah, so it's sort of like a retelling / soft reboot, but with an expansion. So maybe this fits into the quote-unquote real Ruby that we have now. That's Volume 9 is just nowhere to be found at this point in time. Or maybe it's like a soft reboot. Like, honestly, I would have thought that maybe they're trying to just like silently just cancel and get rid of original Ruby. That way they could do stuff on their terms without having to worry about like Monty's ghost.
Surprised Rooster Teeth had time to make that acquisition amid all the accusations. Accusations? Oh, hold on, what's this now?
Yeah, Rooster Teeth just seems like a company that exists, that they are basically Ruby's their life support.
Like how Sonic is Sega's life support, let's be real.
I don't know, it just feels more gross with Ruby, because it's not like the people who created Sonic are dead and had this whole outline for how they wanted Sonic to go, only for the company to ignore it. Like,
yeah, true.
With Ruby, everyone associates Ruby with Monty Oum. That was his baby. That was his wannabe anime sort of project. That was his original thing. And then as soon as he died with Volume 3, it's like, okay, well, our creator is dead, but we have a product that makes money, and we're just going to ignore everything that guy left behind and stuff. So really, there are almost like two versions of Ruby when you think about it. There's the version that we'll never see that was Monty Oum's original vision, and then there's the like reanimated corpse that current Ruby is. So like without that like original like if Monty were still alive, would Ruby be as shit as it is now? That is the real question. And you know,
I mean, the best
author just does a lot.
I mean, the best thing to come out of Ruby is Ruwabi Chibi, because that was legitimately very funny.
I only watched one episode of like, this is filth! Filth! Now that's a katana, that's the only thing I've watched.
You mean the first episode?
I guess so. And the only other clip I've seen of it is like Crow and Tai actually being like dads to, you know, Yang and Ruby and all that. So there's
I liked that. That was funny.
Than like in the actual show.
There was one episode where they had like what all characters dream of, and in Ruby's dream she encounters her season 1 self, like her full like grown up season 1 self.
Yeah.
It was an interesting interaction. It was interesting because I honestly couldn't tell if it was a reused poser model, or if they genuinely rebuilt a model for that bit.
Yeah, like Rooster Teeth in general, it's a company that exists and it's just hard to figure out. Like,
yeah,
it's weird.
Plus, like I said, it is just depressing when they are trying to get Ruby to cross over everything. I think like if you can find like tweets of them tagging crossover franchises with Ruby, like smiling, like it's like a please sort of thing.
Please, we really want a crossover.
Like I think the most famous one is them tagging trying to get Ruby into fucking Fortnite.
Yeah, crossovers can work, sure, but like, if you're serious with any dignity, you make sure that it works.
Yeah, we're a proud battle royale shooter, so let's get Rick and Morty in here because Szechuan sauce.
Well, Fortnite is just an amalgam of everything that's popular, so...
That's why Ruby's not in it! Sorry, Rose.
Like, yeah, just Ruby is... It has potential, but it needs to be put in the hands of another writer. Or if Monty left stuff behind, you should have followed Monty's original vision. Like, Raven's whole storyline makes no sense after, like, Volume 3.
You don't get it, kid. Osmond turned me and my sister into birds.
I don't understand, Uncle Crow. How is that anything but beneficial?
No, I can do it whenever I want. I can turn back whenever I want.
Uncle Crow, why are you yelling?
What do you do with a drunken sailor in the morning? Fuck, I died.
We have just replayed that clip so many times whenever we've done calls.
It's too goddamn funny.
I can turn into a bird!
It was a real drama. Do you know my sister and I are cursed to be birds?
And now let's wait for like Ruby Volume 9 where Weiss has sex with Roman's ghost! I mean, Roman's hot, so I wouldn't blame her. If anything, I'd say she's lucky.
I'm still pissed that, like, you know, I put a lot of thought into, like, my theory on, like, Ruby was going to be the next Full Maiden, and apparently they just shat on that entirely, and I was thinking, damn it, my one made sense!
Oh yeah? Like, what was your theory?
Well, my theory, because you know, like, everyone thought Cinder dies at the end of Volume 5 with a fight with Raven, right? And,
yeah.
And
like, they all thought she drowned.
Yeah, and you know, when we saw her look of surprise, fear, and disappointment, my thought is that, like, as she's falling, she would think, I never got my revenge on that girl. And of course,
yeah, like, the most likely candidates would have been either Ruby, as in, like, I never got my revenge on that girl, or maybe Emerald, because Emerald had, like, that close-up on her face for a while, like, you're almost waiting for, like, maiden flames to pop out.
Because the whole shtick with the Maiden's powers is that it transfers to the last girl they think of.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, like, you know, it would make sense, but it's like, no, she didn't die. I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake, guys, come on.
And that's the thing about Cinder too. Like, they're trying to give her characterization. They tried to give her characterization in Volume 8, but it follows the Cinderella story to the letter, which no other character has followed their fairy tale inspiration to the letter before. So it just seems really fucking weird. And if this was planned from the beginning, like if these are just notes that Monty left behind, it's just like, yeah, she's basically Cinderella, and you know everything that we saw in Volume 8 regarding Cinder actually happened in my vision. Like, it's terribly implemented because we should have seen that a lot sooner in earlier volumes. And in Volume 8, she just, when she's talking to Salem, who is just, at this point, I want her to win, because the entirety of Ruby as a story is just, I just want Salem to be happy. She's the only character I feel anything for right next to Roman and Neo. But, like, we should have seen hints of that earlier.
Yeah.
And, like, because in Volume 8, when Cinder's talking to Salem, she's like, without you, I am nothing. Meanwhile, we've never seen the side of Cinder before, so if she's actually afraid of Salem, or if that's the thing that she's addressed Salem as before, we didn't see it in early volumes. Like, if there was some sort of, like, power play dynamic, we should have been able to see that before, like, this backstory reveal that we've been waiting for literal years. And yeah, just, it is not good.
What the hell? Okay, that was weird. For some reason, Klonoa just you know, followed the laws of physics and didn't move when I moved him in midair. That was weird. But yeah, it's one of those ones that's gotten out of hand a bit too much now.
Yeah.
Like, because the thing is, right? Because they're obviously building up to this massive climactic finale.
Yeah.
And like that shit's as adamant as like fucking Volume 4, where, you know, this whole thing is gonna end with, you know, Ruby versus Salem. Let's be real. But and the problem with that is that when it keeps getting built up and up and up, that hype will eventually die down to the point that when it happens, it's a bit disappointing. It's like,
and they just don't build up hype right with Ruby.
Well, no, but it's like with Kingdom Hearts. Well, the Kingdom Hearts series. You know, they were constantly building up this massive hype with like the Keyblade War. You know, the war will come back. You know, light versus darkness. And, you know, it's just literally just, oh, okay, so these 7 hooded guys versus, you know, Sora and his goody two-shoes troop. And they even build out where it's like, oh my god, thousands are heartless. You know, how are they going to get by? Oh, here comes Yen Sid to create a barrier. You know, like, thanks, guys. I didn't realize the PS4 couldn't handle you fighting all those goons. Which is what people were genuinely looking forward to. Because they did it before in Kingdom Hearts 2 on the Thousand Heartless fight. And in this one, it's like, hey, it's gonna happen! No, it's not.
Oof. I'm glad I never got into Kingdom Hearts.
Well, even if you did, you know, you had trouble figuring out the story.
And, like, isn't one of the stories that's required to understand the full canon not even available anymore because it's a dead phone app, like, from the flip phone era? No.
That one wasn't canon. Yeah, like they there is a phone game. It's on like modern smartphones. That one is canon and it takes place before everything. But you kind of don't need to play that one to understand it. It basically gets referenced once in 3. But it's one of those like, oh, okay, and not one of those head scratcher references.
Ah.
But like,
yeah, I'm glad I never got into Kingdom Hearts.
It's like, you know, it's shit when when basically the first game is the second game, and the third game, and the second game is the fourth game, and the third game is practically the 12th game.
Yeah, I'm glad I never got into Kingdom Hearts, because trying to figure out the story sounds like a trip to the hospital because I have an aneurysm.
I wanted to get into the series, but I never owned a PlayStation. So, and, you know, like, so when I heard, like, oh, okay, they're coming to Nintendo Switch, I was like, finally, I can get into the series. Cloud ports. Like,
I'm glad I never got into Kingdom Hearts.
I still hate that they're cloud ports. They're fucking PS2 games, for fuck's sake. How are they cloud ports?
Yeah, just, like, proper re-release it. Just...
Gary's like, darkness good, like dark, dark, like darkness, like bad darkness. Basically, almost every dialogue in Kingdom Hearts.
Okay, I believe you.
Okay, I believe you.
Yeah, it's just so hard to figure out.
The problem, like the fans are also like problematic because they're like, oh, it's so simple, and they basically explain quantum theory to you. And they go, simple,
yeah,
right?
Like, I am at a point where I can admit that I am old in the sense that I don't want to bother getting into a fandom where I have to take a college class to understand it.
Yeah.
Because that's just too much work, and I don't have that much time to live, you know? I have more valuable things to do with my time. I have cats to pet, I have art to make, people to talk to, family to see, you know, things like that. Just, I just don't want to bother.
And now Kingdom Hearts 4 is happening, and we have no idea where that's gonna go.
Yeah, like where they're actually realistically proportioned.
Yeah, and Sora has normal feet. He's had clown shoes for the entire... He had fucking clown shoes for the longest time, I shit you not.
But yeah, because the original shoes are meant to be referenced to Mickey Mouse. It's like, oh my god, no clown shoes for once. Thank goodness.
I'll forever love when people made the joke where it's like when we saw Sora's reveal in the Smash trailer, people made the joke that like just having the Mickey Mouse icon on his keyblade appear in the trailer was more expensive than getting Sora himself.
Well, yeah, because it's Disney.
Yeah.
Like, to pay for anything other than just the Mickey on the Keyblade would have cost like a fortune. Because you remember I remember the reaction that you had when Donald and Goofy worked on the stained glass thing that Kingdom Hearts has going on, and it was replaced with like a boat and a heart.
Yeah, it was a raft and some star fruit.
But yeah,
Hashtag
so,
not
like,
my Sora. Realistic Sora
like,
is a twink.
Yeah, so like paying for like Donald and Goofy would have been like too much. Like Mickey was far more than enough to get the point. There are a bunch of characters original to Kingdom Hearts that they could have included and stuff. So Yeah.
It's good to have him in Smash. Although if the next Smash game includes everyone from Ultimate, that's going to be a very expensive contract with Disney.
Yep. Wait, they're making another Smash?
No, but if they do.
Okay. Because Ultimate came out like what? A few years ago?
4 years ago in December.
Yeah, like...
That's actually not out of the ordinary, because Smash 4 came out in 2014.
That's the reason I can't get into fighting games. Just like the shelf life of them. It's just like, yeah, I can't afford that every like 5 years or so.
It is...
Play what I like.
It is actually something I found out. I saw an interview with Tetsuya Nomura, the director of Kingdom Hearts. Apparently, the whole Sora and Smash demand was there for ages, and apparently Disney were all for it.
Yeah, it's just a matter of character licensing and all that.
No, not even that. Like they were more than willing to give Nintendo the license to use Sora, but with the way Japan does things differently, they had to get Nomura's permission, and he always said no because he was he was worried that fans would think it was canon in the Kingdom Hearts world.
I mean, the way the story works, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I mean, it might fucking well be with how Kingdom Hearts handles.
Yeah, I'm Sora, this is Donald, Goofy. Yeah, you can't take him with you to Smash. Okay, see you later. And then just like a few games later, hi, I'm back from Smash. What happened while I was gone?
He comes back with two suitcases, a fucking like Nintendo hat and shit. The proper like touristy gift shop stuff.
Yeah, he's wearing like a Hawaiian shirt with like all the the character icons on them.
I kind of want to see fan art of that now. Though it was.
Hi, Donald, Goofy. I'm back from Smash.
I'm Arabia.
I was wondering if you were going to do an impression of the duck.
I don't know how people do that.
I will never understand. Apparently, it's commonplace for the voice actor of Donald Duck to pass out at least once during recording.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Apparently the one for Donald in DuckTales, apparently he fainted and he was a bit worried. Like,
yeah, again, like it's kind of a hard voice to do.
It's like, could you imagine, just like from his perspective, he wakes up and he's like, oh shit, I passed out. Am I in trouble? Oh god, are they gonna fire me? And they're like, all right, so we'll see you tomorrow. He's like, wait, what?
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. Like, the duck voice has always been strange. Like, how do people just not die?
Yeah.
How does your throat just not die?
With difficulty, I guess. I don't know. Oh, did you hear that Minecraft are banning NFT worlds? That
is good news.
Absolutely. And Epic responded to this, actually.
By saying that they were pro-NFT, let me guess?
They literally said they will not be following Microsoft's way of banning NFTs.
Oh, NFTs are just such garbage.
Well, what's also like annoying is I heard that Ubisoft were planning on implementing NFTs in their games, but the way they wanted to do it makes no sense.
Was to have everything be cross-platform, basically. That's what I've heard.
Yeah, so you buy the skin of a gun, and you can use that gun skin on other games, like presumably on other Ubisoft games. But the thing is,
I actually got into a really good conversation with with a finance guy at one point. And so yeah, like in terms of the tech space, like not unless every game is built on the same engine and gets updated to have all the same shit at the exact same time, a cross-platform thing like that is not going to be able to work without a lot of bugs or just without breaking the game in general.
Yeah.
And even the concept of an NFT, when I talked about it with the finance guy, the way I explained it as an artist, I was like, well, the way NFTs would work in theory are cool because, like, it'd basically be like a royalty payment on digital art. It's like, if I make a purse, I could sell it to a wholesaler that'll buy maybe $5,000 worth of purses, and then they'll sell it to other retailers, but I'll only see the initial $5,000 that they gave me for a whole lot of purses. If I, like, sell that purse to an individual for, like, $20, I'm only going to see that $20. I'm not going to see any royalties from that if they give that purse to their mom, and their mom donates it to a thrift store, and the thrift store eventually sells it to someone else, and then there's just no revenue seen from that purse. So the way NFTs work in theory would mean, like, I could sell that purse, sell it to the warehouse will sell it, give me royalties for selling them the purse, and things like that. So in theory it would work, but because it's digital art and how the way that digital art works, digital art gets stolen all the time.
Yep.
And, like, furry community, for example, in the furry community, like, they are infamous for art commissions to the point where there's the meme of suspiciously rich furries that constantly get commissions done and stuff like that. But sometimes you see people, like, stealing, like, people's personas, essentially, for, like, the purpose of roleplay forums or, like, just needing an avatar for a social media website. And then it's like, hey, that's my persona. Like, why are you using my persona for your social media when it's my art that I paid for? And stuff like that.
To play a bit of devil's advocate, though, I don't really think that's any different than someone using, say, an already established anime character and using that as their avatar or, like, a reference to roleplay as. Like, as long as you're not... As long as you're not
claiming you are that character, yeah.
Or you know, claiming that you did the artwork in question or anything like that.
Or without, like, claiming that, like, you're that person or things like that. But the reason I'm comparing it to the furry community is because, like, the idea of, like, getting a persona commission that's, like, your character, it's your copyright on that character, so that's what makes it unique. And anyone who steals art of your character is definitely going to get a bit of a stank eye in their direction. But then with NFTs, because they're trying to market it as, like, one-of-a-kind art, and it might be one-of-a-kind, procedurally generated or not, but it's digital art. Screenshot that shit, download that shit, just repost it as a new NFT by, like, posting the screenshot of the NFT that you just quote-unquote stole. So it's like, because digital art is so flimsy in nature, there's no way you can get a model like that to work. And even a car company tried to make an NFT where basically it's just the NFT little digital animation shit, but then they were also going to make you a custom car as soon as the NFT was sold. It didn't sell. No one participated in the auction, even though it came with the promise of a real car that would have been made for them. Custom. So, you know, people just... digital art is not a good investment unless you are, like, commissioning someone to, like, hey, I need a logo or a persona or I need you to draw a cover for my album or things like that. It's not going to work.
I was actually about to say, I paid someone £300 to get a book cover.
Exactly, so it's like... just digital art is not going to work unless you're directing, like you're commissioning someone directly to make art for you for your product that you are going to sell, and unless you have either some sort of, like, royalty agreement or you pay them once for the art and then that's it. But, like, yeah, NFTs just suck.
Thing is, I think I'd argue the worst part about the NFTs is, well, yes, the NFTs are harmful for the environment depending on who you ask. I think the worst part about them are the people who buy the NFTs. Like, not because they buy them, but because they're so goddamn pretentious.
They're so idiotic about. They just... And did you ever see that thing where it got popular on Twitter where, like, someone, like, was screenshotting, like, YouTube channel icons and saying, like, if you buy the NFT of this YouTube channel, you own the YouTube channel?
Yeah.
I know for a fact it happened with Saberspark.
It also happened with Cat Icarus and the Completionist.
So it's like... And then an ad that I saw on Twitter once was like, own an NFT of your address. So it's like, does that mean I own property then? No! Because I would have to go to the state of New York and be like, hey, can I buy this property? And if I don't have the money to buy property, they're not going to give me the property. I can't just go to a real estate office, flash an NFT of an address, and be like, hey, I own this property now. I'm the new landlord. Give me rent money. If it was that simple, you know?
And there are also people who make NFTs. You know, there was a bloke who got into massive controversy because he made NFTs of Etika, a YouTuber who.
Oh yeah, I heard the news firsthand when Etika died. Yeah, just it's not good. And like, as much as I don't care for Smash, it's like death is sad. He's big in that community. Mental illness is a thing that people need to pay more attention to. He couldn't get the help that he needed, and death is just tragic when it's like this could have been prevented if the person got help or other people helped this person, you know?
Yeah.
So it's fucking sad, and you saw the same with George Floyd as well.
Yeah, it's just it is also a case that like NFT buyers are just like, okay, I don't condone trolling. I mean, I say that I've done mild trolling before, but
and also we can't condone trolling or harassment on the stream.
But the thing is,
so we're not saying to do it.
But the thing is, the people I've seen in NFTs, they are just welcoming trolls. Because like you know, you get those people who save these screenshots, you know, for like making a video or something like that, or to put a compilation. You know, it's like, oh wow, look at these idiots who buy these JPEGs, and then they have
the audacity to be like, don't screenshot me.
Yeah, legit. They get so salty, and I legit saw one that said you're just jealous that I own this and you don't. It's like, it's a fucking JPEG.
Well, it's like, honey, congratulations! I just got it for free, so now I own it and you don't.
And the thing is, because NFTs is such a new thing, like the government doesn't know what to do legally about it.
Exactly. Like, I actually follow 2 law-based channels on YouTube. One is called Hoeg's Law, that I followed around the whole COPPA thing, but YouTube was kind of in crisis when they were trying to reform due to all the COPPA bullshittery. And one is, hold on, let me look up the name. Legal, yeah, it's Legal. And Homework Law and Legal have discussed the whole NFT thing before, but yeah, there's no legal structure set in place for it. Like, do we deal with it like art? Do we deal with it like property?
Yeah,
etc., etc.
Like if someone made an NFT of my book, where do I stand legally? You know?
Exactly, and
they all get together and sorry, it's just owning expensive shit for the sake of owning expensive shit. They all get together and call it a status symbol to own an NFT and look down on people who don't have the thing. It's a fucking I've not once looked at a JPEG on Google and gone, man, I wish I owned that.
It's like, there are a lot of expensive things that I would like, but a lot of those are physical things that I could have in my house and could enjoy for potentially many years, provided I take care of the item. Like I would love to get 2 fursuits specifically. I'd like the one to cosplay Puro from Changed, and I forgot the other one that I would have won.
Yeah, it's like, I'd love an expensive Aldi. You know, I would love to try some expensive steak. I would love a winning lottery ticket. All of those cost money.
I would love one of the cars from Burnout.
Yeah.
I would love a bigger apartment for me and the cat.
I would love this image. Oh look, I have it. It's on my pictures folder.
Exactly. So it's ridiculous. Because it's like, digital art is not a good investment, again, unless you're commissioning someone yourself, and it's like an investment toward like your brand or something. But digital art for the sake of digital art, just get it for free. Just go on Unsplash. Unsplash is literally a photo site where everything there is public domain. You could use it for whatever. Like, and you don't even need to credit the original photographer. So like, yeah.
Well, the NFT market is plummeting now. It is, and that's honestly really fucking funny to me.
Yes, like, and whenever I hear news of them plummeting, I smile.
It genuinely, like when I heard that crypto goes, I find cryptocurrency pointless. But like, yeah, when I heard the news that it took a massive plummet, I genuinely busted out with laughter, because you have no idea how funny that is. Because you have these people who say like, oh, it's going to be worth millions, and now it's not even worth a penny.
I know, right? It's just such nice Schadenfreude. And I think that's Schadenfreude the internet can like wholeheartedly agree on for the most part. Like 90% of people will be like, ah yes, I also enjoy this Schadenfreude. And the only people who are butthurt about it is the people who spent a lot of money on it.
Yeah.
So like, while we don't condone trolling and harassment, it's okay to take delight in the NFT people who lost their investments, because NFTs are terrible for the environment. They're just terrible investments overall, because it's basically what they're trying to treat. They're trying to treat NFTs like the stock market, but for people who never leave their room, never touch grass, and only get sex when they pay for it.
I will say, I genuinely, like, no shot. I honestly had an idea of doing an NFT hear me out, only to see how stupid they were, right? Because I did an NFT, right? I haven't published it. I just made the image. But
okay.
I did a 1,000 by 1,000 pixel image with a black pixel in the middle, and I called it the Lonely Pixel. And I was going to see, because on one of the websites you give a description, the story to your NFT. And I was gonna, and I had this whole description planned about like how, you know, how like the pixel is lonely, you know, once he takes everyone out who doesn't understand them, it is only themselves in this world of white. And I was just thinking like how many people would see that as relatable, and how many people would want to buy that. I was genuinely considering publishing that to see who would buy it. But the thing is, right, those websites that sell NFTs have some of the highest security ever.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say, one, don't publish it, because then you'd be one of those guys, and you don't want to be one of those guys. Two, those sites are just flooded with scammers.
It's not even that. Because when you make an account, because one of the websites, you're the die hero. Well, live long, love, cease, I'll be the villain. Yeah. But like I tried, I went on the website crypto.com, which apparently was the best marketplace for NFTs. And I looked at it. Holy shit. I had to do so many hurdles just to make an account. Like, I had to make an account. I had to click on the verification link in the email. Then I had to get another email which had a verification code. Then I had to have that as my code. Then I got a password that had 12 words, and I had to remember the specific order they were in. Then I had to download the app, connect the app. Then I had to make another account on the app with the same email, verify
Tommy,
it 6
this
times.
sounds like an intriguing story, but instead of telling us on a stream, I would actually love if you did like an expose on this topic, because this just sounds interesting.
Legit, I'm not making any. This is what I had to do just to connect the app.
Yes, but can you make this like a 30 or 40-minute video, please?
No, because it all involves cryptocurrency, and with cryptocurrency, you need to prove you are a real person. I don't have a passport.
Huh. So that's where your journey ended there.
Pretty much. So because I was looking into because I was I was considering learning the basis of crypto to try and understand it, because one of my friends invests in Dogecoin and stuff like that, and like before I called him an idiot, I wanted to like understand it to see how much of an idiot he was. But yeah, that required so many it
required way too many steps worth bothering to do.
Well, to make a Bitcoin account was actually not that bad. Like it was the basic setup email, 12-word password. But then I had to get a picture of my valid passport, then a selfie, and then a video of me waving. And because my passport expired in 2019, I can't do that. Yeah.
So yeah.
So
like I wouldn't trust them with like a toenail that I clipped off. Like that information is probably just getting like collected by some fucker who lives in his basement.
Yeah. And
just looks at E621 all day. And it's just going, tee-hee, I'm gonna make so much money off of this information and my JPEGs of monkeys, while their mom is telling them that the grilled cheese is ready. You know?
Is that where you downloaded Tor? No, that was just pure dumb curiosity, really.
But yeah, it's not even an art form, it's just fucking pointless.
This sounds like a troll website. No, it is legit security stuff. my mate, when he was setting up an account with his bank, he had to send them an email of him holding his driver's license and waving to prove that he was a real person.
Yeah, like some organizations are doing that because, like, for the time where my mom wasn't employed, they changed the way that unemployment works. So she had to verify she was a real person, had to send a selfie, had to send her ID, etc., etc. And there's been controversy of like, should like social services like make you take a selfie to prove that you're a real person? It's like, sure, it's to prevent fraud, but then it's also just an invasion of privacy.
Z says, "Ah, yeah, just what I wanted to hear. Sam talking about toenails."
Ah, yeah, feet.
You want to get in on this shit, Z? You want to join us? But yeah, like security is like tight. Fucking hell, these jumps are tight as hell. Yeah, some security is like tight as hell nowadays. I'm glad that I do that. I do have two-factor authentication set up on my phone, because that authenticator app, while annoying, it does make me feel a bit more secure in my accounts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like, you know, I will often get the email saying someone tried to log into your account in this area, and I'm like, well, they couldn't because of two-factor authentication.
Yeah.
Use it if you haven't, people. It will help. Trust me.
I'm just trying to think of, like, you know how, like, there was that meme of, like, yeah, I'm into NFTs, nice fucking, and then something else for the T. So now I'm just thinking of, like, well, I could do nice fucking thighs. Or I could do, like, what else starts with a T? I can't think.
Tits.
Now that's already a thing.
I had to do a video call with the government to prove I was taking a COVID test before I went to America. Really?
That sounds creepy.
Boris Johnson is there like, yes, you can stick it up your nose and have a jammy dodger in your hand.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, like, obviously it's a privacy issue, but then it's also like an accessibility issue. Like, you know, it's definitely strange. Yeah. Just people should not have to jump through hoops to get help and having to take selfies and videos and all that shit.
Well, I mean, it's understandable when it's, you know, your own bank account. Like, if I want to book a GP and like, if I was to book a call with my GP and they suddenly turn on the video camera and say, right, show me your ass. You know, I wouldn't exactly trust that on a fucking video call, would I? Shit. I don't know, it's just a messed up world nowadays.
Yeah, but I had hiccups.
I mean, NFTs is like the peak of insanity, but what the hell comes next?
It's the peak of it, you see, and honey, don't jinx that. Take that back. Take that back before you will something stupider into existence.
I mean, it's not really a jinx. Something stupid will come next. It has to, by the laws of the universe.
I mean, something stupid could happen to me in terms of art recently.
Yeah, but that's, you know, you, the individual. I mean, us, the society.
Yeah, but society is already so goddamn weird. It's just, but NFTs are just especially stupid for a lot of reasons. It's just investment 101. Like, invest in something you can have, like, tangibly. Like, at least with, like, money laundering with art back in the day, used to be like, okay, give me $5,000 for drugs, but, you know, we'll just put it on my bank account as I bought a statue from you. And it's like, then you have the statue in your house, and at least it looks cool, and you could display it in your house. Like, yeah, I got this statue from this artist, aka this drug dealer that's moonlighting as an artist. So if you want good art, you could buy it from him, and stuff like that. At least be more creative with your money laundering. Have, like, tangible items, you know? Not this digital art bullshit.
$5,000 for drugs. Ah, yes, one drug, please.
Ah, yes, one blunt. That's all that I ask. 5,000.
Smoke them weed, kids.
Spoken sculpture. Oh, that reminds me. I gotta find sandpaper so I can sand down my emerald.
The emeralds!
Yeah, because I baked a Chaos Emerald recently.
Back in my day, money laundering meant something.
No, but like, because back in the day, like, people would, like, launder money through art. Like, that's why rich people buy art. It's so that way they can launder money and shit. They don't have to pay any taxes. And they could just, like, you know, pay their taxes by donating art, because it's supposedly worth a lot, which makes you wonder how in the world art gets appraised. Honestly, I think art appraisal is bullshit, except when it comes to, like, historical pieces and all that. But yeah, so, like, art is commonly used in money laundering because it's a thing, it can look pretty, it can do nothing. You could, and even if you don't like the art, you could just hide it in the basement, gift it to a friend, donate it to a school if it's quote-unquote valuable. You know? So, like, art was very commonly used for money laundering and stuff, and NFTs are basically money laundering, but it's not good art, and it's also digital. And digital art gets stolen all the fucking time.
I would love to see like Ocean's 11, the sequel, where it's just like, you know, we're gonna do a massive heist. All right, what museum are we gonna be stealing from? The Museum of Google. What? There are 50 NFTs waiting for us. And like, instead of all this intense heist shit, it's just guy keeps saying, I got the first image. Right, you know what to do.
It's just a guy with a USB stick.
Yeah, copying one of 50.
No, it's like, it's a USB stick, but it's like the expected download time is like 3 days. So you just sit at the computer for 3 days, making sure the computer doesn't turn off or fall
3
asleep.
days?
The internet
How shitty is your Wi-Fi?
No, that's what builds the tension.
We have to use this Windows. We have to use this Windows 95 computer, otherwise we'll be detected.
We have to use Netscape Navigator for this shit.
We have to use dial up. And the test music you say.
Yeah, so it's just like, you know, it takes 3 days. You know, the dial-up noise is going on in the background. It's like there's tension. It's like, man, I'm hungry. It's like then someone microwaves them some mac and cheese.
Yeah, it does like dramatic zooms on the download time. It's like dun 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 dun, and then it cuts to them like playing like poker or some shit.
Or like the download slows down significantly because one guy played solitaire while the computer was running and downloading everything. It's like, man, you can't be playing solitaire. This is a heist.
Who the hell's using up all the bandwidth? It's just someone there watching YouTube. What? Oh, sorry, fine, I'll turn it off. God.
Or it's like the biggest point of tension is when the internet shuts off. They have to call the internet provider, and the internet provider asks what they're doing. Or it's like, oh, there's a server outage in your area. Let us know if you want us to let you know if it'll be fixed or when it'll be fixed. Or they get stuck on hold.
I kind of want to do this as just a shit take. I've got Jack and Henry coming down next month, so we could discuss the idea.
Like, if we do that as like a shit take, like we do like a short film shit take, like we just have like our cats in the background, just like they're helping you with the heist just by being cute. Like the FBI knocks on like the heist group's door, and then it's like, "Oh, hi, officer, what's going on?" It's like someone's holding a cat and it meows.
I'm glad I remember that pattern because I can't hear it.
Oh, that's one thing I've missed about streams. It's like, ah, yes, the silly things that go on streams. We just came up with a short film idea.
We've come up with weird.
We'll premiere at Sundance.
the Sundance Film Festival.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, fuck it, why not? And you get those like, and you get those snarky lot who bought NFTs that think it's horrible.
Yeah, like all the bad reviews will come from NFT bros, and you know it.
Yeah.
And then we'll make it in the news for like film that mocks NFT culture was turned into an NFT. Filmmakers and lawyers discuss. And yeah.
I'm quite grateful there's no like anime studio that wants to get involved in NFTs.
Oh.
Like, I'd
You said that, now it's gonna happen at some point.
I'm not a fucking jinxer. When have I ever jinxed something, eh? Exactly, fuck you.
I'm just saying in general, like, I wouldn't be surprised, because, like, waifu culture and, like, the collectathon nature of things like anime and video games is, like, it already exists, so...
Oh, they make more than enough money from sweaty weebs anyway. Like, have you seen the Dead or Alive DLC prices? Good lord.
I used to look at the screenshots for those games whenever I wanted, like, clothing references, because holy shit, the amount of clothing and the attention to care and detail, like, I used to want to be a fashion designer as a kid, so I could appreciate Dead or Alive's mad ladness when it comes to costumes, but yeah, they are just too fucking expensive.
I think it's like Dead or Alive 5 or 6, where all of the
DLC
DLC
Dead or Alive Final Round.
is totals over £1,000.
Yeah, like I remember being in that game's forums when I was considering getting the game for myself, but I was also using a Windows 7 at the time, so I would not have been able to run it. And I was in the forums like, yeah, I don't know if I'll be able to run this shit, and is like the community for it good, etc., etc. And I had gotten like, so many responses just by like just people that were like, yeah, just avoid the costumes if you can.
But my fan service, I want to see them titties jiggle.
It's funny. I think I remember us getting into a conversation about fan service, but it's like, I kind of like the mad ladness of the Dead or Alive costumes, because that's my wish fulfillment. Like, my wish fulfillment is just, I want to just do daily activities in the most ridiculous outfits. Like, if I could go grocery shopping in a full ball gown and get away with it, I would like to. If I could, like... murder an axe murderer in a bikini, that'd be cool. If I had the stomach for a bikini, but that's besides the point. It's like wish fulfillment works for everybody. It's not just like the male gaze and all that. It's like, yeah.
I find it ironic that you'd wear a bikini yet you can't swim.
I can swim with a life jacket on, kind of.
That'll kind of take away the sexiness of the bikini, where it's like, oh, look at them breasts, right down from the armbands.
Well, fuck you, stay life jacket.
It's like in Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games, where Sonic always has a fucking life vest on whenever he swims.
I just find that cute because that's basically me.
and like all of the characters have these like intricate swims. Like Mario has the butterfly, Yoshi has the breaststroke,
and then for Sonic, it's underwater running.
No. Sonic is literally doggy paddle.
I thought it was called underwater running. At least that's what it was called in my copy of the Beijing one.
Well, okay, so I guess it changed it because in the 2012 one, it was doggy paddle.
But yeah, so it's like underwater running. It's basically, I believe it's an actual technique. It's basically just like you're swimming, but you're walking. It kind of works if you're not in that much water.
Yeah.
Like if you're in water proportional to your own height and can somewhat float with or without the assistance of a life jacket. But yeah,
given Sonic doesn't swim.
Yeah, it's just, I need a life jacket. I can't float for whatever reason.
It's also funny in 2012 because you could do synchronized swimming, and you like do dance moves and stuff, and you can have like Peach, Amy, and Daisy, and they're cute in their swimwear, and then there's Sonic with a life jacket who joins them.
It's like yeah, I would wear my glittery costume, but I can't swim for shit.
That's the only game where you can make Eggman pirouette. The only one I played was the first, and I hated the motion controls. They did improve the controls in the 2012 one.
Yeah, the only one I have is the 2008 Beijing games, which is the first one that came out, and I got it for Wii. And I had the idea of like, oh, it'll have motion controls, so it'll get me up off the couch, and it did get me up off the couch. And it was a lot of fun. But yeah, I still find it funny that I got that game having no context for what Sonic was, and I still made the fucker swim, and I put him on boats.
The 2008 one is fine for what it was, but it does feel like a first attempt. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like it was it was the first one. Your first time is always going to be awkward. So
yeah, this is our first time making it. We're not familiar with what we're doing, but we feel competent. And then
yeah, we're not totally aware of what we're doing yet, but we're trying.
Yeah, and then 2012, they're like, yeah, we definitely know what we're doing now. Let's have fun with this. And that became the best one because holy shit, they fucked up on the 2016 one. Like, good lord, that one was terrible.
And then the Tokyo one is how would you rate the Tokyo one? Oh.
It was fine, but yeah, probably should have just stopped.
And like, I wanted the Tokyo one, but I don't have a normal Switch. I only have a light.
You can play on the light. I don't think it requires the motion controls.
But that's the whole point.
Yeah, I know. It's why a lot of people hated the real one because that didn't have motion controls. And
That's like getting the DS version. Like it requires no motion control. That's the whole point. It's Olympic sports activity. Getting off the couch. It's like what's the point at that point?
I still like how the conversation went about to how they got how they were able to talk to Nintendo about getting married because Sega owns the Olympic Games rights because they bought them. And they were thinking, and you know, the original thought was, well, let's put Sonic in there, and then they thought, well, no, because the Olympics are about people coming together, you know, like the Olympics of the world coming together. So why don't we have a franchise come together? And they spoke to Nintendo, and Nintendo went, yeah, all right, yeah, that makes sense actually, fair enough, do it.
Yeah. And then there was the justification for like, why is Mario's name first in the name of the game? It's like, oh, because Mario's sexy. He's Italian. He's a plumber with a good job.
Yeah, so they asked a Sega rep and a Nintendo rep. The Sega rep said, well, Sonic respects the old man and lets the old man go first. The Nintendo rep went, nah, he's Italian. He's sexy, and he gets a lot more women than Sonic.
Now I have to ask my local Italian how they feel about that answer.
There you go. God, that was a bit more difficult.
I'm just gonna go silently to my corner and play Mario Sonic and the Winter Games on the DS. Okay, I'm sorry.
Shadow is a fucking beast doing the choreographed baton spinning.
I've seen that actually. Because that becomes a meme. Like every few months, I'll see it on Twitter, and someone just either adds music to it or just like adds voice acting on top of it to contrast with the baton twirling.
What I find funny is like when they added Rosalina to the 2016 one, they had a bit of fun giving her like some more like fan servicey posts. Like her render in her gym uniform is like, you know, a bit, you know, sexy with like the pointed toe and stuff. And you look up Mario and Sonic at the Rio games, like Rosalina, if you just look up the character in Google, you get YouTube thumbnails where the thumbnails are just crotch shots of her whenever she does a split leg. I'm like, come on, guys.
Oof.
Not even subtle there, mates.
Not so little. And System says that's stupid because we all know Mario is an asexual organism.
Luigi's one with the massive cojones.
You know, that actually raises an interesting point, because, like, yeah, like, Mario and Peach are supposed to be an item, but, like, the relationship is just not... It's not very convincing.
I think it's just a case that...
I would say platonic, but platonic would require, like, connection.
I think it's
like,
just a case that Peach is trying to save her image and doesn't want to be seen as a princess with a plumber. You know, I mean...
Thing. I'll be back. I gotta look for a thing.
Okay, see you in a moment. Right, as Joker is preparing his evil plan. And YouTube is... Sorry, my Gmail is telling me that I'm live. Thanks, Google. What would I be without you? Well, probably using Bing, actually. Always let the music play. Shut up till the lady comes back. I'll speak if I want to speak. You can't make me speak! What do you mean it's my channel? Oh wait, you're live? Instead of System putting me on the spot, Sam put me on the spot. Wait, What? The ruins of the Wind Kingdom. I don't remember this level being that hard. I say that as I literally just died. Okay, fuck me, I guess.
I'm alive again.
Welcome back.
My kitties have just been bothering me again recently, and I was trying to look for, like, painkiller. It's like, shit, I have 2 of these, I can't find one, I gotta use my emergency one.
I might get a drink in a moment.
Don't be me, kids. Don't drink too much soda.
Wait, no, you
Control your red meat intake.
You can have soft drinks, just, you know, have some water with it as well.
Well, yeah, just drink a lot of water. Don't just be chugging a lot of carbonated beverages for the majority of your childhood.
Yeah, soft drinks are not good for hydration.
Yeah, if anything, they make you thirstier.
Pretty much. There you go.
It's
That
bothering me
mood
again, but at
get
least I get to go to the doctor soon, so... That's good.
Yay! Expensive healthcare.
You know, like, my insurance has never given me a problem with kidney stuff. It's like... Actually, that's the funny thing. Because of a loophole in the American health system, we technically have, like, healthcare for all. But only for kidneys.
Oh, that was
Fun fact not a lot of people know about. It's... John Oliver did a piece on it a few years ago, but yeah, it's essentially... It's very weird. But when it comes to, like, transplants, you still have to, like, be put on a waiting list, and, you know, based on, like, priority and all that, so you could be too old to be qualified for a transplant unless you go through a private donor, and stuff like that. But, like, I think dialysis, they can't deny, people, like, health companies and insurances cannot deny you dialysis, I think is what makes it, healthcare for all, but only, again, only for the kidneys. Because kidneys are basically your body's filters. They filter out all the garbage you have on a daily basis so that you could have all the good stuff, or at least most of the good stuff. And then how kidney stones happens, that technically everybody has kidney stones in some way, shape, or form. It's just that they get too big, they become a problem, and that's how kidney stones that need surgery or treatment happen.
Kidney stones also help form quicker through dehydration.
Yeah.
Which is why I fear getting kidney stones.
Yeah, at least for a woman, like, our lower extremities are used to pushing shit out or designed for that purpose. As a guy, because your lower extremities are not meant for pushing stuff out, it's gonna be hell. It'll be the closest thing you feel to childbirth and a menstrual period. So, yeah, kidney stones are not fun.
So we can actually say, men can actually say, you don't know our pain.
In that one area, it's gonna be the closest thing you feel to a menstrual period. Because actually, fun fact: if you're a woman and you have kidney stones, doctors will either assume you are giving birth and you probably don't know you're pregnant, or that you might just be having a really rough period because the symptoms are so similar. And sometimes, if you're a woman, you can be passing a kidney stone while on your period, and then that just makes it even worse.
It's a boy. It's his pet rock.
It's like, yes, yeah, sure, I'm pregnant. I'm giving birth to this pet rock.
Oh,
It's not even a diamond, it's a shit diamond.
I thought I hit it.
It's a literal shit diamond. But yeah, it's rough. And mine have been pretty under control for a while, but lately just the pain's been coming back, so I have an appointment soon. Hopefully they can see me. And I'm gonna ask, like, hey, so this has been bothering me a lot, to the point where, like, I just keep my medication on me, like, 24/7. Like, I keep one in my purse and I have one in the house. Should I consider surgery? But yeah, like, obviously surgery is a last resort because you can treat them on your own by drinking a lot of water. Sometimes they'll put you on medication to try to shrink the stone, or help you pass it faster. But yeah, like, if it gets too big, it needs to be lasered out of your system.
Yeah, aren't there some, like, medicines that could effectively break it down, like acid or something like that?
It depends on what the kidney stone is made out of. Like, the most common things that kidney stones can be made out of is calcium or, like I think citric acid or something like that. It's complicated, but based on what the stones are made out of, that's how you can figure out how to treat it or try to get rid of it on your own. But generally, water, lots of water helps because it'll help the kidney stones basically float and not just like poke your insides. And they'll also give you medication, sometimes not to shrink the stone, because again, that's very dependent on what the stone is made out of, but to like expand your urethra so that that way if you do essentially give birth to the stone at home, you can pass it better.
I wonder if Klonoa has kidney stones, ever gets kidney stones. Yeah, to talk about the game for a moment.
I don't want to wish kidney stones at anybody. It's terrible.
That'd be a hell of a thing, you know, not I hope you get hit by a car. I hope you get kidney stones, you fuck. It's like, oh shit, he means it.
Yeah, like, exactly. It's like, at least getting hit by a car, people get hit by cars all the time. There are multiple ways to recover from that.
Walk it off!
It's like, getting kidney stones, that's something else. You're basically pregnant with a shit diamond. And you can't name it, you can't take it home, and sure you don't gotta put it through college, but it's always with you, and it sucks. And it's like, at least if you're pregnant, you can just like, oh yeah, I'm sorry, just because I'm pregnant, there's just so much going on right now. People will help you, and they will want to be nice to you. Like, even in New York is classified as like a, you know, people think it's a very rough city. Like, sometimes you'll see pregnant women on the subway or on the bus, people will still give up their seats to a pregnant woman. At least that's kind of like, oh, I have kidney stones, yeah, fuck you.
I had a pregnant woman have a go at me for not giving her my seat on the bus. But here's the thing. I was sitting at the back. You know, like, the back, like, the bus has priority seats. Like, actually seats listed as priority seats. Only at the front. For, you know,
it's the same in, it's the same in New York, yeah.
Yeah, for pregnant women and elderly people to, you know, use. Like, if a pregnant woman or elderly person needs this seat...
Or a person in a wheelchair.
Yeah, you must give up this seat. I was at the very back and by the window. She went all... my favorite seat on the bus. She went all the way to me and had to go at me for not giving me her seat.
And was like the rest of the bus full?
No.
So it wasn't even full.
Yeah, it wasn't even full. One of the priority seats was available. But apparently I was the asshole who was out of the way for not giving her her seat.
Yeah, at first I was gonna be like, yeah, that sounds like kind of a dick move, but like if the rest of the bus is basically empty, there's a priority seat available. Or like, again, the rest of the bus is empty, so you could have sat anywhere you wanted. And sometimes, based on how many months you are along, sometimes it's like... you know, you can be very small, you can be very big. Some women don't show that much, so they could be like 9 months and ready to pop any minute, but sometimes they won't look like 9 months, they won't look that huge. It won't need the priority seating for the room. So like, you know, if it's a mostly empty bus, at least on the buses in New York City, they have like single seats, like in the middle of the bus. Like, I can understand wanting to like sit in the priority seating or like on the aisle seat on a bus, so that way you don't have to be like, hey, person, excuse me, I need to get off this my stop, and so that way they don't have to get up and cause a whole show about it. But, like, specifically wanting your seat when there's priority seating available and the rest of the bus is mostly empty?
Yeah, and the thing is, the back was full, because, you know, it was 5 seats at the back. Someone was next to me in like, you know, because I was, like, far left. So, you know, seats 2, 3, 4, and 5 were also taken. That means they would have had to get up so I could move. So then she could squeeze by, but she wouldn't be able to squeeze by because she was so big. And yeah, I was the asshole for not moving.
Yeah, like, obviously you want to be accommodating to a person who is pregnant, or a person who has a disability, or like a mobility issue, or like an elderly person, and stuff. But at that point, if you're like, there's priority seating available, other seats are available, just take those. You're gonna cause like a whole production number over your pregnant belly.
I was like, yes, if it was a priority seat, then I would have moved, but that's why I stay at the back, so I don't have to deal with the responsibility of being in a priority seat.
Yeah, that's... Why? Like, I think about this all the time, especially as a woman of childbearing age. You kinda gotta run scenarios through your head of like, what if I give birth in the middle of the street? What if I give birth at home? What if I have to give birth alone? Like that, you run scenarios in your brain. But, like, one scenario I never thought of was, what if I'm pregnant and I specifically want the back of the window seat of the bus and I can't sit there? It's not a problem, because I would just sit somewhere else. Or take another form of public transportation. Or walk if I had the energy and I was healthy enough to do it. How?
I don't know, man.
It sounds like a comedy skit somewhere.
Just watch, it'll be on SNL in a few days.
Oh god, that is... SNL's not funny.
Huh. Okay, I am that stupid. Okay.
What happened?
I missed this open door that was here the entire fucking time. Yeah, alright. Well, at least I got a checkpoint. Honestly, I don't mind dying to I would have just given her the seat anyways. Well, the problem is that the entire back row was used by other people. That was the problem. So like,
and that's the other crazy thing. So you're expecting all those people to move and shimmy over just to accommodate your big belly?
Yeah, like.
And again, if she's sitting in the back, in the corner next to the window, that's a seat where typically, unless the back is structured in a way where you have a lot of footroom in the back...
It is not. It is absolutely not.
Yeah, so I'm just imagining like one of the buses here in New York where it's like the back seating, sometimes there's wiggle room, sometimes there's not, but it purely depends on how the seats are arranged, and a lot of the more newer ones don't have that accommodation in the back. So it's like, yeah. Yeah, you can't do that. Right or not, you can't just expect people to just move for you like that.
So honestly, I'm just mad at the fuck of like coaches, how they're not really designed for fat blokes in mind.
I mean, same with roller coasters as well.
I can't tell you the amount of times I've gotten on a coach and I can't put on the seatbelt because it is not like it can't go around my waist. I was like, well, if we crash, I'm gonna die.
Reminds me of when I went on the cyclone with Wholesome Friend. Because Wholesome Friend is very tall, and he's a little bit big. So there was a moment when we were being buckled into the cyclone, and like the bar didn't like click, because he's just that tall and that large. So when it finally clicked, it was like, phew. But I was also grateful he was that big, because that ride goes very fast, and yeah, I still have PTSD from it a little bit.
I'm just terrified of roller coasters.
I like roller coasters, I just hadn't been on a roller coaster in so long prior to going on the cyclone. And then this motherfucker has the audacity, after the ride, I'm a little bit dizzy, I'm holding on to my mask and my glasses, because Holster was like, you should hold on to your glasses. Because apparently this ride goes so fast, there's a chance they could fly off. And like, at least my mask straps were kind of holding it in place, but the whole time on the ride, I'm holding my glasses just because I'm paranoid. I just got these glasses. I had to get a new prescription. Insurance wouldn't cover it. So I had to pay out of pocket for it. It's like, I don't want to lose these glasses. And so I'm dizzy. I'm relieved I didn't lose my glasses. And I was like, oh my god, I got a case of the vapors. I screamed so hard. He was like, haha, haha, you know, that's funny you say that. Because this is tame compared to the other roller coasters I've been on. And that was the moment Wholesome Friend really scared the shit out of me. And yeah. But yeah, a lot of stuff is not really like accommodating of like people of larger sizes. And I'm at a point in my life where I'm not a disability advocate proper, but I am one of those kinds of people where it's like, okay, if I'm building a building, how do I make this accessible for everybody? And stuff. I don't know. I'm weird. I could be an architect, but I don't have the time or the patience to go to school for it.
You know, I always love, with like architecture, you always see these like concept buildings. Like, this is our vision for our next project, and it comes out and it looks nothing like it. I
mean, that's just the way of architecture, unfortunately, because it's just subsidized by all these grants, which is paid for by all these private investors, and they all want different shit. So you might have a vision, like, I thought every now and again I think to myself, like, if I was a landlord and I just had like a blank slate to work on, like, how would I build my dream building in a way that I would like it? And I have all these ideas, but because stuff is subsidized or invested in by public investors, it's like, okay, a lot of my dreams are probably going to go in the trash can.
Well, it's also like concept cars, where you see these cars that are the future, and they never come out. Reminds me of this.
A baby goblet should be called a goblet.
Goblet. Well, no, goblet's a cup.
But it's a baby goblin. It's sort of like calling a baby hitchhike a hoglet.
It does remind me of it was Top Gear, where they showed off this new futuristic car from Toyota, and one of the features on it was the steering wheel was like a giant mood ring, where it would. Well,
that sounds fucking pointless.
Well, yeah, and but but they brought up a good point. Where it was like, where like Jeremy said, you know, it's like, well, you know, you always have the moments with your wife, and you go, what's wrong, love? She goes, nothing. But it's like, well, clearly there is something because the steering wheels turn red.
Well, I guess in a way that could prevent like angry driving. So it's like, you know, you might run someone over with your angry driving, like that sort of thing, maybe. But like. Although it actually kind of reminds me of like all these technologies or prototypes for, or like presentations for like this futuristic technology to try to like see if you're drunk without having to blow into a breathalyzer. Like I think it was Doritos that had like this concept bag that they were going to give them out at like sporting events, and then you could blow into the bag to see if you were drunk. And then obviously if you pass the test and you were drunk, it's like, okay, you're not drunk, you can drive safely. But then if you were drunk and blew into the bag and the bag said you were drunk, it would give you like a $10 credit toward like an Uber or something. But then it's like, okay, so that means this bag would have to be connected to the internet, which sounds expensive. It would have to survive in a bag of chips. And like, how is it going to give you a credit toward Uber?
Oh,
how do those two things connect?
People are harassing the Japanese voice actress for Goku on Twitter. Why are they harassing an elderly woman? What the hell does she do?
And that's why I'm happy I'm not into Dragon Ball.
Well, I mean, you don't really have to be into Dragon Ball. It's just weebs.
Like if everything. But yeah, I'm assuming it's something related to like anime or like what, is she retiring or?
I mean,
is she sick? Gets me to voice act?
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if she's retiring. She's nearly 100, for fuck's sake.
Well, I mean, a wholesome friend was actually telling me about this recently because there was a character in a game or an anime that he liked, who also voiced the Monokuma bear in Danganronpa, and that was her last role because she got diagnosed with dementia, was too unhealthy to continue voice acting, so she had to retire just due to health reasons. So if it's something similar to that, it's like, why would you harass an old lady?
Well, just have to wait and see, because, you know, obviously, English fans will never understand legit reasoning. Japanese fans, you know, are a bit more lenient. But wait and see what system says. This is tense! How the fuck am I going to do this without getting hit? Like that, apparently. It's the dub fans. Wait, so the dub fans are harassing the voice actress. Okay, that unfortunately makes more sense. It shouldn't.
I'm guessing it has something to do with a health reason?
Well, no, I mean, health reason is not really just for a reason to harass someone. I think it's probably the dub, you know, the dub fans who are used to Sean Schemmel, you know, and his, you know, man voice, you know,
yeah, because doesn't Japanese Goku have like a very high pitched, obviously a lady voice?
Yeah, because it's an 85-year-old woman. She's been the voice of Goku since the original Dragon Ball. And the thing is, with Japanese voice actors,
they have a lot of seniority and respect for like people who've been in the role for forever.
Yes, you have the role, like until you die or until some controversy happens with you, in which case we can't really replace you. but we have to think of something.
Yeah, like say your voice actor culture in Japan is almost very reminiscent of idol culture, except you're voicing an anime person.
Yeah. It did happen with an anime. I'll get into it in a minute. I can't remember which one though. But yeah. So those who watch the dub of Dragon Ball and then hear Goku in Japan going, yeah, Vegeta. You know, it's one of those stark differences. But you know, that's just Japan doing Japan. It's not a woman's fault.
Yeah, exactly. Like, if that's the voice actor they chose, that's the voice actor they chose. You're not in Japan. You have the choice of subs and dubs and in-betweens, you know?
Because the thing is, it's also a case that when she voiced Goku, Goku was a child at the start, and women are the perfect candidates for voicing boys as kids because they can reach those high octaves.
Yeah. And unlike hiring like a young male child voice actor, you don't have to worry about puberty.
Yeah, because you know they grow up.
Yeah.
It's like with
and they can't always reach those high pitches anymore.
It's like with Disney's The Sword and the Stone. I think you can hear the voice change 3 times because he had to go 3 different child actors because you know the kids grew up and hit puberty.
Yeah.
But,
and there are some shows that'll do it like naturally, where they keep the same voice actor, but they make the puberty a part of the show, like what Adventure Time and Steven Universe did with their main characters.
I think they did it with Gumball as well.
I wouldn't know anything about Gumball. I didn't watch Gumball when it was airing.
How sad. Yeah, there was an anime. I can't recall which one. I think it was like a high school anime. Narrows it down, I'm well aware. But the main voice actress, she got into like a big sex scandal with a minor, and so she got in the nick for it, and they couldn't just replace her because you know
because
she
that was her role essentially.
Yeah. So the way they got around it was they did. Well, it was basically season 3, but they disguised it as a spin-off by chibifying the characters. So it was like it's a brand new thing. So they kind of so they got away with recasting entirely, because you know chibi, it's technically different.
Yeah, and then later they can make the excuse of like, oh, we liked the voice actress for the spin-off better, so we'll just hire her as the real one for when the normal show comes back.
And it does, and it was also a case because in Kingdom Hearts 3. The character, I forgot his name, but he's in Hercules, the little goblin little shit that's like Hercules, the one voiced by Danny DeVito.
Yeah. I don't know his name either, but I know who you're talking about.
In Kingdom Hearts 3, he didn't talk at all, which a lot of people thought was weird, but it was just because his Japanese voice actor died, and you know they didn't feel right reusing lines, so they just made him mute.
Yeah.
But when you do have a long-running series, it is problematic because Bulma's Japanese voice actor for Dragon Ball did pass away right when Super ended, so they had to bring someone else in for Broly. Same with Dr. Eggman, because you know been the same guy since Adventure. I also think it's why Charles Martinet is still the voice of Mario. Because, you know, he's working for the Japanese company, so it's like, you know, you are the voice. Like, if Mario was American, he would probably be replaced.
Yeah.
That's my take on it, though. That could just be pure speculation.
I mean, I can see why that'd be pure speculation. Like, Nintendo of Japan knows Charles Martinet as the Mario voice.
Yeah.
So they want to keep him for brand familiarity.
Like, you know, it could be a mix of brand familiarity or, you know, because they do have respect for voice actors.
Well, that too.
I mean, I say that, and yeah, Peach has gone through a couple of voice actors, so who knows? Kind of hard, you know, maybe that one does boil down to brand recognition.
But Peach isn't the main character. It's Mario. It's not Peach's name on the box.
What about Super Princess Peach?
That doesn't count. It's a spin-off.
it's still her game.
She uses her emotions as a weapon, and she's trying to get the vibe scepter.
I'm still surprised I got away with that. That game's Peggy 3 over here.
And didn't the game prompt you to like look in your mom's drawers because she might have the vibe scepter herself?
I still think that was made up.
Like, I don't know. I
Shit.
don't play Mario games. The only Mario game I played was, the one I played like long term was like Bowser's Inside Story, and I gave up because I found it too hard.
If Mario was American, he would be replaced. Ah, yes, that's what the movie did. I mean, yeah, all right, fair point.
Oh, by Chris Pratt of all people. And they're gonna go like the Chip and Dale route of it. It's just like, yeah, it's like the reason why he's doing the Mario voice because he's an actor, just doing a bit.
Okay, like I'm sort of taking that with a pinch of salt because it's one of those do trust me leaks, but I'm still saying I called it because I spoke about that on System Stream a while back that's what they were gonna do. I fucking called that shit.
Well, speaking of Chip and Dale, did you see that trash fire?
No, and admittedly, Jack's video kind of gave me a reason not to watch it.
Oh yeah, like
The whole Peter Pan shit.
Yeah, like I have called myself a fanatic like in the past because I know a lot about like Peter Pan mythos, and like the psychologist in me likes just analyzing that tale from a psychological lens, and they just did Bobby Driscoll dirty.
Gary asked, did you give up on the carrot minigame? He's referring to when you said you stopped playing Bowser's Inside Story.
I didn't know there was a carrot minigame.
Yeah, there's a spot in the story when you need to find like a bonsai bill big enough to destroy Bowser's castle because Forful took over, and Bowser finds a bonsai bill. Well, no, he sees a carrot that thinks it will be good enough to use as a bonsai bill. But when he pulls up the carrot, he pisses off this Wiggler who goes, "Hey man, not cool. You got to eat the carrot now."
The last thing I remember is that I was stuck in a room. Bowser had to eat a lot of food. He got really fat, fell through the floor.
You passed the carrot minigame then.
Well, I don't remember anything about Bowser's Inside Story.
Cause yeah, you were in the flab zone.
Yeah, so I got stuck, and I was like, yeah, I give up. And I traded it in for something else and stuff. But the whole reason because it came with the DSi bundle, so you get the game bundled with the DSi itself. So that was my first game for a while.
Watch there be a scene where Mario does his game voice when he gets kicked or something. He's like, come on, show you what you got. Oof! I kind of picture that, actually.
I could also easily picture that.
Did you see, like, Charlie Day on, I think it's like Jimmy Kimmel, when he was saying about when he did the voice, when he did the recording for Luigi?
A what?
He was on a talk show, and he was saying about when he went to record the lines for Luigi for the film.
Mm-hmm.
And he was saying like how he didn't even record with the others. He basically was just like told, is like, all right, say this line, now say this line, now say this line. All right, good.
So basically, what we do over Discord, but all separately.
Yeah, but he wasn't given a script at all. Like, it was one of those proper private things, like do not disclose. So like he didn't know the context of the story, so he wouldn't leak it. Like he can say Luigi said this, but he doesn't know why Luigi said it. It kind of reminds me of when the whole leak, not leak, but like the whole twist of Luke, of like Vader being Luke's dad. Was going around. Did you ever like see the behind the scenes on how that happened?
Nope.
So Mark Hamill, the guy that plays Luke, when he was like in his dressing room, like George Lucas walked in and said, "All right, we're gonna lay something. We're gonna give you the details of something. I know this, the director knows this, and you're gonna know this." And if the press finds out about this, we know it was you who leaked it.
Ah.
Because it was all proper secret. And you know, then the whole twist was said to him, you know, like how, you know, Darth Vader is Luke's dad. I mean back then that was a big deal. And he said that when that when it happened in the cinema, apparently Harrison, because he would talk to his friends about it, Harrison Ford, the guy that makes Han Solo, looked over and went, "Hey kid, you didn't fucking tell me that." Thing is, the whole twist, that is like one of those, like, I would love to have been there to see audiences' reactions to that, you know?
Yeah, like, it's a trope so commonplace now, but really that could have been seen as like the trope maker for it. That's what made it popular.
Well, yeah, because like back then it was so unheard of. I honestly don't blame Nintendo for not trusting Westerners after the first Mario movie. It's not so much as like doing that secrecy because they don't trust them. It is more of trying to prevent leaks. I mean, you know, it's like how there were no leaks of Metroid Dread, you know, like that got announced and legit no one leaked it. It is just like trying to keep a hold of it to make sure that nothing gets spilt. Because Nintendo hates leaks. Like, there was like a game that I think it was like a monster truck. Yeah, I think it's like a new game for the Excite Truck series in 2012. But then it got leaked by one employee who like, he really didn't care, but Nintendo were livid and demanded to know who leaked it. And because of the leaks, you know, they just went like, yeah, like you clearly shown that we can't trust you. It's like what happened with the Netflix Zelda series. Do you remember that?
Yeah, it turns out there was like no series in development at all, right?
Yeah, so the leaks were that like there was a series in development.
Yeah.
Which Netflix said no, there isn't. But the thing is that there were discussions about it because Netflix wanted to do a series, and Nintendo were in talks with Kochima about doing a stop-motion Star Fox series because they were impressed by the fantastic Mr. Star Fox parody they did. Mm-hmm. And but the problem was Netflix, because even before discussions happened, they told some of their employees to leak the information to
try to get hype around it.
Yeah, to see like, hey, we don't know what happened, but people want it, let's discuss. And that is basically just saying to the company, wow, good job, you can't even keep your own information secret.
Yeah, it's sort of like a storytelling device where it's like, okay, you have a group of like 3 people, and to see who's the traitor in your midst, you give them both 2 different pieces of information. And whoever does it accepts the wrong piece of information, that's how you know that they're the traitor. Something like that.
Yeah. And it's like, you know, I'm like, if Netflix just kept their mouths shut and discussed it with Nintendo, there could have been a genuinely, like, we could have had a Star Fox series, for fuck's sake.
But you know how Netflix is doing stuff now, it's with all their...
Yes, but this was back in like 2017 and shit, when, you know, Netflix was relevant. But
Did you really want Zelda saying that she was looking up Zootopia porn on that tablet she has in Breath of the Wild?
2017, Sam!
Zootopia existed back then!
I know, but they weren't doing How Do You Do, Fellow Kids? Whoa, that's a plot to the Among Us movie. But yeah, it's just one of... Like, if someone was to discuss to me about making an Honest Bonds film, but leaked that he was working on the film before I even discussed it with him, I'd be like, fuck you!
And they're gonna turn your villain into a husbando.
Oh god, it genuinely pissed me off when that They Who Shall Not Be Named was adamant that their headcanon on making a villain a bird person were like that was the canon design. Yeah, like that was the canon design. Not, you know,
never described what he looked like, so I just imagined it was like male Salem.
I did describe what he looked. I described what he looked like in the book.
I don't remember.
Well, that's your fault. Uh-oh.
Yeah, for the longest time, I just imagined it was like male Salem. It's like, so when you showed me like what you came up with, I was kind of disappointed because like, oh, he's not hot.
Well,
He just looks like a grandpa.
He's got to have some menace to him. But yeah, it was really annoying because they were adamant. It was like, no, like fuck you and you're threatening human. It's bird person. Like, okay, but I never described him as a bird person. Well, he's bird person now. Well, no, he's not. My book.
Exactly. It's like I've had those instances with writing before. People just insist like, oh, you should make this idea that I had canon. But then it's like, as an adult now, my first reaction would be like, yeah, but what if I publish that and you start suing me for the copyright?
Actually, in fact, they leaked the original idea I had for the sequel I was planning at the time. They legit leaked it. And I got so pissed with them about it. And they leaked it, and they sheepishly confessed to me that they leaked it because they wanted my attention.
Yeah, loose lips are, not good. Don't trust people with loose lips.
So yes, I could see Nintendo's point about hating leakers, because I dealt with them. Thankfully, my book wasn't popular enough to, you know...
But, like, also, when it comes to, like, people contributing stuff to your project, like, that's fine if you're 13 and just roleplay with your friends, and you're probably not going to publish that story then, because you're 13, and how the heck does a 13-year-old publish shit? Like, that's not fan fiction or anything like that. But when you're an adult and you're having friends and collaborators like contribute to your work, that's copyright bullshit you got to deal with right there. Because like, what if that person starts to hate you and it's like, hey, I made the character of Eleanor in your story. I want to, you know, file a copyright claim against you because that's my character we never discussed. If you want to use that character again, you're gonna have to like go through me and stuff like that. And it just causes a lot of problems.
That's why you get stuff in writing.
Not only do you get stuff in writing, but like you take others' critiques and feedback to heart, but just don't borrow characters from people.
Well, it's like, well, I have, you know, when I got the, I'm allowed to discuss this, but like, you know, when I spoke to my, when I spoke to the artist about getting the cover done, I made sure to get a contract form, say like, I'm paying you for this, and in turn you draw this. Like that was the legally binding contract. You know, so you know, we're both clear on who owns what and what. And I had to do, and because I want to go the route of merch, I had to get another contract saying that, you know, you agree that I own the art that I paid for, own and only that art, and I am allowed to make merch with that art as I see fit.
Yeah. And like that's why I do everything myself. Like I try to be as self-sufficient as possible. And if I were ever at the stage where I would like to get beta readers, just close friends. That's it. Because even if someone paid for the privilege of that by way of like a Patreon or a crowdfunding thing, or just like said, hey, if I give you like $500, can I be a beta reader? It's like I'm only trusting my friends with that shit because I know my friends won't leak stuff without my permission.
Well, you should definitely get someone to proofread. Because never believe that you're your own worst critic. Use me as exhibit fucking A.
I'm my own worst critic in terms of I admit I'm a perfectionist, and that is my best and worst quality about myself that I'm always trying to work on. And
Sam,
all that.
just get someone else to proofread your work for fuck's sake.
I know that. I'm very typo prone. I'm just saying, like, yeah. So when it comes to, like, anything creative, like, for me, I always try to be self-sufficient. I try not to get other people involved unless I'm asking for feedback. And the only other people that I actively, like, ask, like, for feedback that I know I can trust without a question are my cousins. And especially the girl, she's got really invested in my writing to the point where every time she comes over, she constantly asks me about it because she wants to read it. And I'm like, 1, I'm shy. 2, it's not done. And
3, fuck you.
And 3, you're a child. Leave me alone. Don't judge me. But like she even got on my case like, why doesn't this character have a weapon? This character should have a weapon. I think they should have a weapon. And I'm like, this character is not really a fighter type. It's not like a high fantasy story. It's an urban fantasy, but also this character doesn't like fighting. If she didn't have to be in the situation she's in, she'd rather live a peaceful life. Like, so she's not gonna have like a sword or a gun or anything. Like, she should have a weapon. And I'm like, well, if you're looking for a weapon, I thought about giving her an umbrella, sort of like Neo style from like Ruby, because like an umbrella is a good improvised weapon that doesn't come across as a weapon in most circumstances. She liked that idea, but she was just on my case about it. I was like, why doesn't she have a weapon? Like, everyone needs a weapon. Like, think of one weapon for every character. It's like, I'm doing that already. I've thought of stuff like this. Like, if I don't tell you doesn't mean I haven't thought of it. It means I just didn't tell you, probably because I forgot. Or you didn't ask about it.
Sucks to be y'all. I am my own best critic. The way your cousin is reminds me of when Happy Days had an actual alien in one of the episodes.
I've never seen Happy Days. The only bit I've seen from Happy Days was, I remember this specifically. It was the only thing I've seen from Happy Days. It was my VHS copy of Charlotte's Web that was done in like the 90s. And it like on VHS tapes you'd have like the trailers that happened before the movie. This was before the DVD era, so you couldn't skip past it unless you fast forwarded on the VHS tape. But one of the adverts on that VHS tape for Charlotte's Web was something for Happy Days, but I don't remember.
Yeah, no,
like, other than the song.
In one of the episodes, like there was like an actual character named Morg, and he was from Mars. And according to like everyone else on set, it was one of the worst episodes they made. But it was only made because the director's son said, like, "Daddy, could you put an alien in your show?" And he went, "Yeah, sure, son." And he went to his writers and said, "Do it."
But didn't that create like a spin-off show with Robin Williams, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah, because Robin Williams played the alien Morg, and like he was the only good part about it. They said the episode was shit, but Robin Williams wasn't. So
yeah.
so they rolled with that, like, you know, like, and you know, just gave the alien his own show, like Morg and Mindy.
Oh yeah, because it also had that really tall, masculine woman, and I think her story was like she was also an alien, but like in a male alien in the body of like a masculine-looking woman, but she was hot, so she had to deal with girl problems or something. At least that's what I think the show was about. But I remember, yeah.
For some reason, that reminds me of Terminator 3. Like in Terminator 3, there was like I think it was Terminator 3, where like the Terminator pretends to be a woman. And like when she gets pulled over by the police, she looks up at like a billboard where it's like a model with large breasts. So she enlarges her own breasts, and you can like hear Schwarzenegger in like the DVD commentary going, "The idea of Terminator getting larger breasts is phenomenal, Oscar-worthy idea. It is truly genius." Have you ever? I do often listen to DVD commentaries. Like I love the awkwardness of them.
I've never listened to a DVD commentary before.
I am one of those sad, lonely people who will watch the DVD commentaries because like I growing up, I hardly ever watched the Disney films. I always looked at the bonus features, which included all of the making of and the behind the scenes stuff.
Oh, what I would used to do as a kid with DVDs, I would always check out the bonus features first to play games, because some DVDs had, like, games in the bonus features.
I didn't even play the games.
Well, I played the games. I always looked forward to the games.
Like, I think I only played the Monsters, Inc. one, but yeah, no, I just loved the behind-the-scenes stuff. Like, how, like one of the Finding Nemo scenes, how you'd see, you know, the pencil sketch idea, and then the basic 3D models, and then post lighting, then pre-lighting and pre-texturing, and it was all awesome. Like that shit always fascinated me.
I also liked behind the scenes, but especially the behind the scenes of like animated movies.
The show's entire joke.
Live action ones were kind of 50-50.
The show's entire joke was Alien doesn't know how Earth stuff works. Yeah, but it was massively popular for the kids. And that's what matters, system. In some circles, that's called breast inflation. Okay, how far behind is he? I think he's a bit behind because these comments are just appearing for me.
Yeah, that would actually be called breast inflation of that, and that is a kink. but also as a woman with boobs, that the thought of that really hurts.
There we go. Do you ever like have that one film that you watched as like a kid and you go back and you're like, wow, I like this?
I had that with an anime that yeah, there's this one specific anime that I remember. I found it on Amazon Prime Video once, and I was rewatching it. I was like, I was into this garbage because this was my first time seeing the entire series from start to finish. Because when I was younger and I first saw it, I caught it from like episode 7 or 8 onward. And I think it was episode like 8 or 9 that was like a hot spring episode, so that had nothing to do with the rest of the series. But so yeah, I caught it out of order, and I didn't have enough context to fully understand and comprehend the second season. But I watched it in its entirety on Amazon Prime Video when it was still available, and I was like, I liked this garbage. And it just kind of made me have like a deep think with myself. I was like, huh, I guess I was just that desperate to get in a new anime at the time where I didn't really see the issues going on with it. And also I was 12, so that also didn't help, so I didn't really see the ickiness behind it, but yeah.
I remember like watching Bakugan. I used to love the credit sequence when you'd see the the main 6 like spinning on that little disc. And they'd occasionally pop up and spin around. I don't know why I loved that credit sequence so much.
It's just like a very innocent, like childlike fascination with like just tiny machines and all that.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
And of course, you know,
I'll knickknacks that have multiple functions.
And of course, I'll always remember the theme song because it was cheesy as hell, and I love it.
Like, I still love my favorite Masquerade quote was like the episode where Dan gets like a dude dimension, like, "Congratulations, you've you've succeeded in making me very angry."
It just sounds like every 13-year-old dialogue writing.
It sounds like every mad 13-year-old trying to be edgy and threatening.
Also, I remember when they did the twist of like Masquerade being Alice, and I'm just like, what? And now I'm just like, oh yeah, that's anime.
Yeah, because I mean, mystery-wise, it makes sense that she was always away, but even the contrast between the two personalities, like, it also made sense in a way. But I wish we could have gotten more interaction with them. Like, if Masquerade had been made like his own separate being, I would have loved to see him interact with Alice and just see where that relationship goes. Because there's not much introspection. Like, when it comes to two personalities merging, I like seeing the introspection or how they deal with one another. Like,
do you think Alice listens to the Bakugan theme song? It's like, I feel with this. What do you mean you feel with this? Two worlds collide on the inside. No reason.
It's like, that's one thing Ruby did in the beginning that was okay. Like when Ozpin is in Oscar's body and the souls are just fighting for stuff. And that's a thing I would have liked to see with Dust, but you don't see like Jin and Cassius fighting within Dust himself. You don't or you see hints of their personalities within Dust, but they're already turned into Dust. So you don't see like, okay, this is distinctly Jin, this is distinctly Cassius. You don't see them vying for the body of Dust for like full control, or who gets to live again, or if they both, surrender to, the Dust consciousness or anything like that. So like that's always an interesting concept. Like, if you have multiple souls or personalities in one body, like you basically have one body but multiple characters. That's a way to like boost the number of people in your cast, but not bloat it physically. That's always interesting to see.
Meanwhile, Klonoa's granddad was fucking murdered.
He got murderized. We should do a moment of silence for Klonoa's grandpa.
Bro, can we get some Fs in the chat for Klonoa's granddad? For me, I was surprised I liked a cartoon called Get Ed. I think I've heard that.
What was your show that, like, you don't know why you liked it?
Good question, actually.
So for me, my show was like, why did I like this? Was UFO, Ultra Maiden, Valkyrie. So that is, as an adult watching that again, that was icky show. Magikano, I kind of had the same feeling with Magikano, because the whole cast is a bunch of sluts after one guy, and there's witch magic involved, but they don't do much with the magic. And also, the anime ends in a time loop, whereas the manga continues past that point. But I don't know how the manga ends, and also the manga is supposed to be really rare. But it's like it was just anime that was presented to me at the time on cable or on demand, so I was just chomping at the bit for anime because it was anime. So it's like, I've watched a lot of weird shit.
I think for me, it was, it would probably be, like one of those shitty live action shows that was rampant at the time. No, you know what it is. You know what it is. You know what it is. Oh god. Fuck. What's the name? It's like it's about these siblings, like a girl and the two brothers that are like wizards.
Wizards Away with the Place.
That's it. Yes.
I watched it. Like that was around the time I was like starting to not be into Disney anymore because it was Disney and Disney's like, haha, family friendly bullshit. And so just because not wanting to be seen as a baby, I wasn't all that into Disney anymore. But yeah, I remember that, and like a lot of children's shows in general, I don't always look back at them and say like, why did I like this? Obviously, I liked it because I was a kid and it was on cable at the time, and pre-internet, cable was my entertainment. But like, I look back at it. And knowing what I know, especially about like Dan Schneider and all the bullshit that Dan Schneider is into, I look back at a lot of children's shows and I'm like, okay, that's a fetish. That's also a fetish. Why are there so many disgusting things in this kids show?
Wizards wasn't a Schneider thing. Like that was its own thing, but
yeah, like it wasn't produced by Nickelodeon because it's Disney. But even it's like, I don't know, the weird shit that, like, they sneak into kids shows that, like, when you're an adult, it's like, okay, that's a fetish. Like, how did that get, like, approved? So it kind of irks me looking back at a lot of, like, live-action children's shows.
Well, didn't the guy who made Totally Spies have a foot fetish or something?
Well, Totally Spies had a lot of fetishes snuck into that stuff, but when I was a kid, I liked it because Tee-hee girl show. And, like, girls being spies and all that. And I just ate that shit up. I didn't see any of the fetish stuff behind it. As an adult, I just kind of find it funny, because I can name a lot of that stuff off the top of my head.
Apparently it was also credited, because I think it was like every episode the girls had unique outfits and never repeated, excluding their spy outfits.
That was another thing I liked about the show, because when I was young, I wanted to be a fashion designer. I loved fashion. Any show that had anything to do with fashion and other girl stuff related to fashion, I just ate that shit up.
And yet you never had a Barbie.
Of course I had Barbie. Are you kidding me? Motherfucker saying, oh, you don't have Barbie. Bitch, I had a lot of Barbies. I had a Barbie RV and it was awesome. I wanted my Barbie camper van.
Totally Spies, Sexy Watermelon fetishes. Bruh, Totally Spies was a fetish, so...
Oh yeah, like I remember, like one of the Totally Spies episodes that I remember fondly. There was this one transformation episode where Clover gets turned into a cat. I think it's either Alex or Sam that gets turned into a fish, and one of them gets turned into a cockroach. There's the feeder/inflation episode with like Patty's cookies or something like that. That ends with like the villain like falling under her, like hoist by her own petard and eating a bunch of cookies and getting really fat, and then Clover just is fat for that episode because she can't stop eating the goddamn cookies. There's another transformation episode where Alex has to go to this boarding school in England, and then she gets transformed into a dolphin person. There's this one where they get turned into giants because of like a size-changing ray, and they all fight. There's this one where they go to the Middle Ages, and Clover gets kidnapped and turned into a princess. They have to save, and Alex and Sam have to save her by dressing up as knights. And oh my god, I remember a lot about Totally Spies. Although, if you've ever heard to the full version of the Totally Spies theme song, if you think the show is sexual enough, hear the full version of the theme song. Not the one that played in the show, but the full version that was like edited and had some of the lyrics replaced for the show.
I never even watched the show because, I was a stupid boy.
I liked the show. It was fun.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, I was a boy who was like, oh, girl show, maybe it's not for me, you know what I mean? Because I was a boy, and I was an idiot because I was a child, like every child.
But yeah, Totally Spies, I just saw it as like a fun girl show. It had Jerry Lewis in it. They have like an AI called Gladys in it. Oh.
DeviantArt fucking loves the spies. I did see a meme. You know, like the Albert Einstein holding back Isaac Newton, telling him to calm down and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like I saw one where it was like a clip from Totally Spies where they use like laser lipsticks and like repel back and forth with 2 mirrors to melt the
Oh
door.
yeah, I've seen that.
And it's like Isaac Newton holding back saying, "Calm down, calm down."
Or there's this one episode where they're forced to give up being spies and they don't have any of their spy equipment. But then Sam, there's this infamous scene that like people question to this day where Sam has like a can opener to try to pick open like a lock. It's like, I'll use the can opener to pick open the lock and then we can get in the building. And it's never seen on screen how that works.
Oh shit. Also, System, you say American Dad is full of fetishes. I'd argue that's different because that is an adult show and not for kids. So they can do whatever the fuck they want there, basically.
The only American Dad thing I know is that, okay, the theme song's a banger, but of course Seth MacFarlane also has an appreciation for vintage Americana music, so that's the one thing I appreciate him for, especially the Shapoopy cover in Family Guy. But the only other thing I know about American Dad in recent years is when, after the Sonic movie had come out, there's this one clip from the show that was circulating on Twitter where the wife is like, I got you one of those fucked up Sonic the Hedgehogs!
I love the memes that were made of the American
Dad
thing.
the only other meme I know is that the wife is just sitting on a couch in the dark looking depressed. I don't know the context behind it.
I don't know, Francine is one of those weird characters. But like but the memes that came out of American Dad were fucking great. Like people speed running the intro. I got in on that one. But like
Yeah, because you've had American Dad for the Switch.
Legit, I got people commenting on my video saying, "Is that true? Where can I buy that?" Because of how authentic I made the Switch HUD. Like I should have made it more fake by like making fake game templates on the others, but I'm still proud with how genuine I made that look.
That was really great, yeah.
But yeah, like one of my favorite memes from that moment was like it was like American Dad but Stan trips, and it's like he literally he leaps out of bed but slips and falls off screen. It's like 3 seconds, but it was one of the funniest shit.
That theme song is indeed a banger, though.
Someone also did like American Dad, but it's the UK, and they basically replaced Stan's suit with like tweed, and like every time he said USA, there was like thunder because it's always raining. Like I was laughing my head off, but the guy made a mistake. Where Stan's driving the car, he was driving a left-hand car, not a right-hand car.
Yeah, so that's the one part where they flopped. They could have reversed the.
Yeah, he could have mirrored it. He could have mirrored, and even he acknowledged. But it was like, you know, it was one of those.
Oh god, I have a little bit of a headache from laughing earlier. I'm looking at the masquerade quote. I'll be right back.
Hey, but oh, fuck's sake, I ran into him twice. This is the final boss here. Excuse me. Oh, for fuck's sake. It's hard to tell when they're gonna fucking throw that ball and chain. There we go. Gonna keep my sacrifice. Okay. Go! Okay, there you go.
back. Let me put my headphones in my ears. Okay, headphones are in ears.
You know, speaking of YouTube comments, it's one of my favorite comments. Like, do you ever watch like reaction videos?
Not really.
I do sometimes watch reaction videos of, like, you know, a specific thing where it's like, you know, oh, let's Americans reacting to British comedians, you know, stuff like that. Like those are interesting ones. And you get people who do talk about the thing while they're watching it. It's like, oh, okay, you know, this is interesting because reason that. And you get comments from people who say like, bro, you're talking too much. Just watch the video. Like, if you don't want people talking, how about you watch the video yourself instead of watching someone's reaction?
Yeah, that happens.
Damn it, game over. Game over.
Like, I can only understand that complaint if, like, you're pausing every, like, 5 seconds and stuff to comment on stuff, but then you keep making the same point over and over again.
I don't mind
like,
the pausing. If in fact pausing to discuss it is what makes...
No, not pausing to discuss it normally. I mean pausing it to discuss it, but you keep saying the same thing over and over again. It's like people who react to Chris Chan content out of anger. It's like the whole point they're trying to make is Chris is a fucking idiot. Then they play the video, pause again, Chris is a fucking idiot. Play it again, pause the video, and same thing over and over again. So it's like, if you try to make that same point over and over again, it's like, okay, can you say something different?
Yeah.
So, like, I can understand that complaint in that regard. But other than that, like, the whole point of a reaction is, like, you see a person's reaction firsthand. So just let them discuss stuff. That's the whole point.
Although, I have, like, watching Americans watch British comedy has been a bit of a curse. Because it clearly shows how uneducated some Americans are. Like, I watched Americans react to Peter Kay's misheard lyrics. And like when he says a line, "Just let me staple the vicar," like they're saying like, "Oh, but vicar's not even a word though. So how's that funny?" And it's like, "Oh, come on, do your fucking research at least."
Exactly.
Like vicar is a word, not like just because it's not in your lexicon doesn't mean it's not a fucking word.
Although that makes me glad that I watched Peep Show when I did, already having known you, System, and just generally other British people for a while before watching Peep Show. And Peep Show got recommended to me by a British guy from Manchester who thought I'd be interested in it because that was one of his favorite shows.
That whole and chance.
Same guy was shocked that I said Crimbo unironically. But yeah, like, if I had watched Peep Show prior to meeting any British person, I would have been a lot more confused. But knowing actual British people and knowing at least a little bit of, like, culture from the UK, I understand the jokes better and I find it funnier. Because British comedy it's all about, like, being uncomfortable.
British comedy is dry. Like, it's not, like, American comedy and British comedy are polar opposites of each other, because you got British comedy who, well, like most American comedy, you know, to basically marginalize it is a pie in the face, in a way, and British comedy is more, you know,
it's more like discussing the pie and how you don't like it, but you're gonna pretend you like it anyway. Like British comedy is it leans on the sarcasm, and because of the dry response most of the time, like, that gets a laugh. Yeah. But the problem is it's difficult to explain it. Like, because I can't visualize an example because I'm not a funny guy. Like, as an American who's watched Peep Show, like, I think Peep Show's the closest I can get to when it comes to, like, American type comedy in a British thing. It's still British comedy in the fact that, like, a lot of the comedy comes from just, like, Mark and Jez are just very weird people and you're uncomfortable watching them, and you would be uncomfortable being them, and you're watching them be uncomfortable in the various situations they get themselves in. But sometimes it's very in your face with the awkwardness and just putting Mark and Jess in all these crazy situations, and you're seeing the absurdity of it all. And just the absurdity, but in a very mundane, uniquely British way, because the show it's from the UK and all that. Yeah.
I still don't know why the Americans insist on doing UK versions of
US versions of UK shows, you mean?
That's what I meant to say. Yeah, sorry, but like it is just like because like each time they try, they fuck it up. Like the only time they succeeded was The Office. That's it.
Yeah.
Like every other attempt has been abysmal. But yet they keep doing it. For IT crowd, in-betweeners. Like, yeah, we can make it better than you can.
I remember a lot of that popping up on MTV back in the day. It's like, I just never saw the appeal of it.
What, in-betweeners?
Just like all these shows that MTV was coming out with at the time that later I learned was stuff from England that got Americanized. But that's, I don't know, I don't really go to MTV for drama and stuff. They don't really do TV shows good.
It was like they even shat on like there was one program, Life on Mars, and the whole thing was like, you know, this guy basically, for lack of a better description, went back in time to the 1970s, and he had to like basically kill himself to get back to the present. You know, spoiler for this, like, you know, 15-year-old show. But in the American version, no, they are actually astronauts on Mars. Like yes, it was called Life on Mars, but you know, like the name doesn't mean shit. It was just because he went back on he went back in time. And in America, they're Martians. You know, they're actually astronauts on Mars, and it's like, fuck you.
Yeah, that just misses the entire point. But sometimes a lot of that stuff...
It does miss the entire point. Entirely.
And sometimes a lot of that stuff, like, I wonder, like, okay, was this someone's original screenplay, but they were forced to do, like, an adaptation of, like, another thing from another place, and so they just, like, snuck their original screenplay in there and disguised it as, like, okay, we're gonna Americanize this show that you told me to Americanize.
It's like there was this musical called Blackpool. Like it was a popular musical over here that and then they Americanized it, set in Las Vegas, which, okay, sure, but the problem was that they had the original songs sung by the original actors, but had the American actors sing over that. So you had two lyrics, you had two singers. And it's like, what?
Like, you mean, like, they took all this stuff about, like, stuff that was relevant to the UK and then just Americanized it and have it be, like, about the American place? Or?
I mean, like, you know, like, there's a scene where the main guy sings Sympathy for the Devil by the Rolling Stones. But in the American version, you can hear the original British actor singing that, as well as the American actor singing it.
Oh, so they didn't even bother getting their own instrumentals.
Yeah, no. They didn't even do that.
Oh, no. That's a great ace to at least get a karaoke track.
Yeah, right?
Oh, no, that's awful.
Yeah, like, America should just stop making American versions of stuff. Just take the L. For once, someone is doing something better than you. It's like how they fucked up the Magic Roundabout. Because that was like a French-British series. Then they made a film of it in 2005, which granted, it wasn't the best. But Butch Hartman, like Fairly Odd Parents' Butch Hartman, rewrote the entire script, and it was called Dougal. And basically, what was once 60% on Metacritic turned into 8%.
The fuck? I thought
like,
that was just... I thought that was just I thought Dougal was just about a magic dog. I didn't know it was based on anything.
Yeah, it was based off the original French cartoon called The Magic Roundabout. It was done on puppets, like back in the 50s and 60s.
Huh.
But the thing is, Sam, so you watched Dougal, and no. You know, with all of its references and shit.
I have not watched Dougal. I just saw ads for it and stuff.
Yeah, basically they just made it absolutely abysmal. Like there is legit one moment in Dougal where the fucking snail is playing Halo in his shell. That, and yeah, as you can imagine, that wasn't in the original.
It just reminds me that Gary was going off last night in the group chat about like how he saw someone in Breaking Bad play Sonic 06.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that. But yeah, like, just Americans, leave our shit alone. Like they did an American version of a French film, which is about this man paralyzed from the waist down, and this black prisoner who basically assists him on community service, and like it was all in French because it was set in Paris, and then they did an American version with I think it's like Chris Tucker. And stuff, and like it just made it completely worse because it kind of missed the point. Because it was based on a true story.
Yeah.
But they just felt the need to just treat it as if it was an average Hollywood film.
Let me guess. They all like in trying to make an American version of like a French story that was a true story. They try to incorporate like American style like problems with racism in it.
To be honest, I can't even remember. Is the problem?
Oh.
It is just one of those god-awful pieces of shit. Like if you're gonna watch the film, watch the original French version, but its name eludes me right now, which is the problem. But it is one of those cult classic films. It's not without its problems, but it's still a good film. Alright, see you later, Z. Come on. Ah, for fuck's sake! These enemies don't give me what I want. There we go. Fuck the motion blur in Source Filmmaker. Seems system is not liking Source right now. I have always thought about getting into animation.
I thought about doing Source, not to make animation or machinima or anything, but just to make like the still image renders that like, System and Henry sometimes do. And I thought about that, and then when I told Henry, yeah, I'm installing Source Filmmaker right now, he was like, no, that'll destroy your computer. I was like, oh no, and I uninstalled it.
Well, like, I wanted to give animation a shot, because I have ideas for animations.
Yeah, it's like, if I could just, like, hook up a thing to my brain, and then I could just animate what I imagine, that'd be cool, but that technology doesn't exist yet.
But, like, but the problem is, like, fucking, my friend, she did download, she downloaded Miku Miku Dance. And I was thinking, oh, brilliant, because that is a good intros, like a beginner's guide to animation in a way, because it has presets for you to work with. And she got so pissed with me, like she thought I was copying her, and I was like, it's an animation software.
Yeah, like who gets jealous? That's like saying, hey, you also own a copy of Dust and Elysian Tale. I fucking hate you. I thought you loved Dust. I hate you for also owning Dust.
Yeah, she is causing massive problems for me right now, actually. Because she did the basic concept drawings for the characters for Honest Bonds, and but the problem is she did them on paper, which is fine. But the issue there is that they don't scan well because she used like light pencil and stuff, so they don't scan well to where I can put them in the book. And so I had the idea of getting an artist to digitize them.
Yeah, so to basically trace over them.
Trace over just for a digital version. And I even said to the artist, I made it clear that you won't be getting credit for the artwork. You just be credited for digitizing it. And he went, that's absolutely fine. I completely understand. Because he knows that it's not his artwork, he's just tracing to get a digital version. But my friend, she absolutely hated the idea. Like, I
can understand that, because it's like, hey, well, I made this art specifically for you, and even though it doesn't scan well, like, you're having someone else do it for me. So I can understand that, but then it's also like, like, I draw on paper all the time. My traditional art scans in fairly well. Sometimes I have to scan in a few times. But then what I've also been practicing lately was like touching stuff up digitally. Because sometimes, because of my scanner and its goofiness, sometimes things don't come out right. Or sometimes the colors seem a little bit wrong. So sometimes I have to scan things multiple times to get them to work. And what I'll try to correct digitally is sometimes like when colors don't look right, sometimes if there's dust on the scanner or like a smudge on the scanner that came out in the drawing, like I'll try to edit that out. Simple cropping stuff. Like recently I did a Wonder Bread Gajinka, so I turned Wonder Bread into an anime waifu. And on paper, on the original physical drawing that is still sitting in the scanner, I drew pink lipstick on her because I didn't want to fuck it up, because originally I wanted to do red. And I was like, okay, I don't really do lipstick or makeup on characters that often, I don't want to fuck it up. Let me do a light pink, so that way, if I fuck it up, at least it's light pink and it's not red and it's not going to bleed as bad. So, to do it digitally, I still wanted it to be a little bit red, because the pink looks fine, but my original version was red. So I made it a little bit redder, just by adding like another layer, oil paint brush, adding a layer of red on it, and giving the lips a little bit more of a definitive shape, and that sort of thing. So like, digital touch-ups I've done. But when it comes to tracing, is a very delicate topic in the art world, so I can understand why she's pissed off there, but I tend to defend tracing in certain circumstances. But like tracing over someone's art wholesale, and even, if the tracer isn't going to be credited for the original art because they didn't do it, they just traced over it to make it a digitized version, it's still a little bit like, I can understand if she would offer to digitize it herself, like tracing over her own art that was already made and then scanning it in that way. Like, that's what I've tried to do, even though I can't really get my art styles to match up, which is why I'm just doing traditional art with digital touch-ups. But yeah, so I can actually see why she's upset by that.
Well, yeah, but she hasn't offered to do it herself.
Like, yeah, alternatively, you could just get wholesale new art for it.
Yeah, but the thing is, that would cost way too much. That would cost me hundreds, because she drew a lot of characters for me.
Yeah, like
actually, hold
another
on.
thing.
I'll do a count. Let me just try and find my phone. Bear with. Two secs.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an idiot. I just realized I have them saved on a folder on this, so we can check that way.
Oh yeah, I had to get a micro SD for my phone because my phone was constantly like, yeah, you don't have storage space, bitch! So I had to get a micro SD. Now I'm organizing all my shit in folders, and it feels nice.
So excluding the characters that have been done by another artist, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 different characters that would need to be redrawn.
Yeah.
And no artist would do that for less than £10 each.
But even still, I can understand, like, if she was doing it herself, I would understand, like, okay, well, that's one thing. But having another person do it, yeah, I can understand why she'd be upset by that.
But the problem the problem is that I showed her that because like her main concern was that he would claim credit. But
even if he's not claiming credit, that people are dumb. It's like people who don't read the descriptions of YouTube videos and then just complain in the comments like, "Hey, you did a thing. Yeah, read the description. I clarified on the thing."
But like I showed her the conversation that he knows he will only get credited for digitizing it in the book. Like when it's put in the book, she will get credit for the original design. Like, he is just the digitizer. That was it. And but she refused to budge and not suggested any alternative. Even when I showed that they scanned poorly and the lines were barely visible, so were the colors. I can't use the scans in the book.
Are you scanning them yourself, like with a scanner, or is it like over the phone?
Over the phone is fine, but it's horrible quality and bleeds with the paper. I've used an actual professional office scanner, you know, one that wants to get all the detail in for business meetings and stuff, and even that's poor.
You could always scan it in a couple different times. Cause what
I tried that. No luck.
Do you have access to like a different scanner you could use?
No. And like the only way I can get around it is if I got her to sign an agreement stating who owns what and what I could do with them. But given how she was violently negative to my mere thought of tracing, I know for a fact she won't sign it.
I would say just leave it out of the story at that point.
I mean, I guess, but you know, they're kind of important characters, you know.
Well, that can always be bonus material that you keep to yourself, or stuff that you put on a Patreon or things like that. It doesn't need to be in the physical story. Like, if it's... I can understand if it's, like, you're gonna include, like, to introduce each new chapter, like, or something like that, but if it's just bonus concept art, it doesn't necessarily need to be there. That's bonus content at that point. So, if you're already having trouble with the artists and stuff, without even bringing up the idea of, like, legal agreements and all that, I'd say just save yourself the drama and sleep. And just not include it or save it for something else.
I'm gonna give this level one more shot. If I game over on this, then I'm calling it a stream. Well, even if I complete this, I'm calling it a stream. Point is that this is my last run at this level. Three people still watching. Welcome to my issues. Frankly, I'm just glad that that my cover artist was so open with like the agreements and stuff.
Yeah, I just hope that I can do stuff myself if the time comes for it.
Fidget is really trying to get in here.
Aww, put your cat on the mic.
She's in timeout right now. How the fuck did you get out? How did you get out?
Put her on the mic.
Do it!
What did you... Oh, come here.
Do it!
Now you gotta say the magic words. I put my cat on the mic. And then hold her to the mic.
Well, she's on the mic right now. I don't know if you can hear her purring.
Hi, Fidget!
What's up? Hey, what's wrong?
Can't hear her.
Well, she's purring. I can't exactly turn up the volume on the mic because it's at max volume. Oh, ow, ow, okay. Those are your claws.
Come on, fidget me off your American aunt.
And she's going away. Oh,
Aww.
you are not going in that bedroom, young lady. Hold on.
Let me, speaking of cat shenanigans, let me see if I can get my cat to...
See, the problem is, I have clothes drying, right? And I don't let her out of the lounge when my clothes are drying because she goes on the clothes horse and knocks everything down. Which means I have to rewash them.
I'll put my cat on the mic.
I got it!
Live and everything.
This is a good girl. You're adorable.
I'm sorry I woke you up, though. You were sleeping peacefully and you were blepping while you were sleeping, and... You're adorable.
But yeah, Fidget loves climbing the clothes horse.
Okay, see you later.
And knocks all my clothes down. That's why I don't... that's why I don't let her out of the lounge when they're drying. Because it means I have to rewash them.
Oh yeah, I hate when that happens. Or do you ever have the situation where, like, you've just washed something, it might have just gotten dry, like, that second, but then that's when the cat decides, ooh, this seems like a nice place to sleep.
No, I've not had that. But you are purring a lot right now, Fidge, aren't you?
Have you ever had a situation where, like, an article of clothing missing, and then you find that article of clothing has been turned into a cat bed?
No. Because I don't leave my clothes lying around.
Have you ever had a situation where clothes went missing and you found out that the cat stole it, not to use it as a bed, but just because they wanted to have a collection?
That's why I don't let it out when they're drying. Because she always knocks
Have you ever had a situation where a pet of any kind destroyed your clothes?
No. Shit. I died. They couldn't make that an invisible wall, could they? That's why I didn't hear that meow then. That was quite loud.
I didn't hear her meow, I'm sorry.
She's just rubbing against my leg.
Oh, that's adorable.
Like, what, are you hungry? I gave you food.
What TJ will do is that she will yell at me just profusely. Kind of similar to what Percy would do. Although, like, TJ is also pretty dog-like, so sometimes she will, like, lick my hand for attention.
Shit.
And
Well, I think that's a good enough time to call it a stream. Do you have any closing words you want to say?
not that I can think of.
Alright, fair enough. Well, okay, Fidget, you really want some pet pats, don't you?
Give her some head pats in my honor.
She loves getting stroked on the cheek. Like, she really does. She will lean into my hand from all that shit.
Oh, that's what, like, if I pet TJ on the chin, she like, leans into it. And sometimes she gives me, like, love bites for it as well. And it's like, oh, thank you. Thank you for, like, the little bites.
Fidget doesn't give me love bites. She gives me bites to signal that's enough.
That's what Percy would do. Percy could give love bites, but she was like a fuck you bite kind of cat.
It's honestly quite hard to tell the difference between a love bite and, you know, a bite with Fidget. Anyway, yeah, so, you know, there's been Klonoa. Might carry on, see what happens, but yeah, that's all I gotta say, really. And then subscribe. See you later. Thank you guys so much for watching. She's Author-san, and I'm Sergeant Major Mario saying, ciao!
Bye.